No!
Stop it.
It's a High Rollers Sunday!
I'm sweaty now.
It's time for High Rollers, everybody. I am your Dungeon Master, Mark Sherlock Humes. It's me. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm joined by my lovely friends. Yeah, I wanted a bit of validation.
Sorry, go again.
Mark.
Thank you.
Yay.
I am joined by my delightful friends. We've got Rhiannon, we've got Chris Troll, we've got Kim. Way! And on the other side, we've got Tom and Katie. Wonderful. Thank you, friends.
We have a guest.
What are you talking about? No, frog doesn't count. Frog. Speaking of frogs,
Toad.
aka Toads.
Oh, nice t-shirt.
Nice shirt, bruh.
It is glorious.
Look at that.
We have a brand new shirt.
We do.
It's the Clever Toad shirt. It's in our merch store. Go to our merch store. You can find it linked in the chat, in the video description on our website, on social media. And you can find it everywhere that you want. Just like
Website.
the Clever
We do.
Toad
Always happen. Oh, okay, so you're doing it
will happen today.
today. Today?
But yes,
These are true.
by popular demand, a Clever Toad shirt. Thank you very much. We work with our lovely team at T-Mail. Thank you, Katie and Kim, for sorting it all out as well. Great
It's
design.
really nice.
And getting it sorted, but you
It
can
was,
buy now.
Really fun to link them the lore sheet that Kim
Yeah.
made for the Clever Toad.
Yeah.
I was like, here's some lore. And he was like,
Yeah.
it's a toad. I was like, it is a toad.
Normie's gonna norm.
No, they loved it. They loved it.
What are you gonna say, Kim?
There's a ZZZ on it. That was my
There is,
contribution.
there is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff.
It's on the pillow.
But you can check that out.
See?
That is the new Clever Toad shirt. Hey, other news.
Hi.
Coming
Website.
up, August 6th. We have we can't tell you what it is yet, but it's a special one-shot stream. Oh,
Very special.
costumes are involved, props are involved. It's one of our special one-shots.
Yeah.
It's happening on August 6th at 7 p.m. UK time. Keep them peepers peeled on our social media for more information and updates about all of that as well.
Very
so just remember,
Is, yeah.
peepers peeled.
We didn't forget much.
Gotta keep it in there. Just every now and then. So keep them peepers peeled on August 6th for our special. It's my catchphrase. It's for our special one shot. We can't tell you what it is just yet, but man, we're excited about it.
Very excited.
Very excited about it. So go and check that out. And don't forget as well, the High Rollers live show. September 17th, Adelphi Theatre in London. That's right, West End stage, baby.
We're coming.
Baby.
End stage.
Yeah.
Dum-dum.
So tickets are still available. You can still get some great seats in the house. We do have like sort of the big front bit is all full up, but there's still some great seats available. Come and join us. It's going to be the biggest gathering of High Rollers fans. It's going to be a really special night. Honestly, we can't wait. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. You buy some merch. There's going to be stuff. There's going to be people in costumes. It's going to be a great time. So come and check that out. And then all the usual stuff. Go and check out our Patreon, YouTube members, Twitch sub, all of that. Super helpful and supports us. So thank you very much, everybody. That's it from me.
I have one thing.
Whoa.
I want to say a big thank you to Eve and Fail from the Discord. The Keep Cauldra and Carry On mug has been
That
made.
we won't ever make.
You won't make.
We won't make.
I made it
That was
thanks
the
to Fail's
loophole.
artwork.
That was the loophole.
So there we go. It is on a mug now.
Nice. I'm going to warn everyone at this table and the audience as well. I made Tom a dice for his special chaos bag.
You did, and it's a real.
Did you like it?
I love it. I really like it. It's very on theme.
Yeah.
He gave it to him and he said, maybe only me will find this funny. So
No, I like it. I like it
There
a lot.
we go. So
You guys are gonna hate it.
as a warning, I've done that. But with that, let us jump and play the intro and start playing some D&D.
We got it. Jump.
Bam.
Welcome, friends, to Altheya, the Dragon Empire. After dealing with the nefarious plot of Tobias Leto and Sunsword Ilkara, our heroes and the townsfolk of Ashen Rest are enjoying the Festival of the Forge, a holy day dedicated to Saint Misara, the Forge Mage. Across the town, there are games, workshops, artisans selling their wares, and many more activities. But the grand spectacle of the festival is a beloved and popular tradition across the Dragon Empire, a knightly tournament. Knights from all across Elmera have come to compete and prove themselves, and Griffith of Tremoro has been encouraged to enter and prove themselves in the hope of attracting the attention of the Circle of Loyal Hounds, a knightly order that the older Wildheart wishes to join. After signing up for various combat scenarios, the heroes now await the Knight's Parade to properly begin the tournament. And we are going to join slightly different maybe to how I maybe ended things exactly on the last episode. The idea being that in the hours that you have before the parade begins, you head out into Ashen's Rest as a group. You reconvene after the shenanigans involving Barak, Tarek, the kobold, and the various games and things that you were doing. And you have enjoyed some sort of fine lunch somewhere in Ashen's Rest. And just before the nightly parade is, you have to be there for the nightly parade, you begin making your way back to the tourney field. As you do, you notice that Ashen Rest, as the day has gone on, has begun to swell with people. And now streets that you once were able to navigate and move through quite easily have become exceptionally crowded, slowing your progress through the town, making your way back in time for the parade. So, as a group, you decide to take one of these sort of side streets, making your way round, using your more expertise knowledge of the area to circumnavigate these busy tourist crowds.
Tourist traps.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting stressed out. I'm holding the giant owl bear plush, and people are bumping into me, and I'm like, no!
Yeah,
No!
exactly that.
No!
So you're kind of being bumped around, and I'll let you guys decide who kind of makes this decision, but you basically decide to go off the beaten
It
track.
wouldn't be Rowan. Rowan would be distracted by all the other
Too
stalls.
much stuff. Yeah.
So he'd have to be tugged away.
Yeah, but it is getting crowded now. Like this morning when you were first moving around the festivals, you were able to enjoy the stalls and the games quite easily. But as the day's gone on, more and more people have been arriving, and now this is like full on festival like crowds. Like you can barely move like through the main streets. There's hours queue for most of the things that you want to do. It's getting to that irritating point of the day, but you do have places to be anyway, so you're kind of making your way through.
Is Barak still with us?
I would say that perhaps Barak
Lost
was
in the crowd.
encouraged to go home after his
He had too
little
much sugar.
I
he's
like to imagine
probably
he's
feeling a bit. He's feeling a bit of a tummy. He's got a tummy sick.
Sugar crack.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, feeling a bit tired.
I like to imagine until then, like me and Ophelia on either side holding his hands to stop him from running off.
Yeah, he is a kobold, so he's smaller than you, but he's probably as wide as the two of you combined.
Yeah, I mean, we're far apart.
So
from each
you
other,
take
though.
up a good chunk of it. Maybe that's like one of the things you took Barak back to the Clever Toad, and on your way back you've grabbed some lunch at the Grumpy Hog or something like that, and have made your way round.
What if it's like one of those little kid harnesses?
Yeah.
But you just made him a little kid harness.
Like a little backpack.
But because he's so big, it has to have two leads on it.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, I don't think the two of you are strong enough to
No,
stop Barak,
no.
even if he does run.
No, we've experienced that once before.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys are making your way through the kind of side streets, making your way back to the tourney field. And these are much quieter. Most of the tourists and most of even the civilians are kind of sticking to the busy streets where they know the games and the festivities and the stalls are. And as you are making your way, you overhear sort of some strange sounds as you're passing a section of an alleyway which has like a little dead-end plaza attached to it, and there's almost nobody around, and you start hearing these kind of shouts and cries of somebody clearly in distress. And as you look further down into where this like little alleyway side street is, you can see a pair of You guys would probably describe them as rough-looking mercenaries. They're not the same mercenaries that you encountered before. They wear different emblem, but they definitely do not look like the cleanest, most polished, nicest-looking folk. And they're sort of guarding a little courtyard plaza and sort of keeping an eye out. And when they see you, they kind of puff themselves up, flex their arms, and are trying to give you the sort of like keep on walking, like nothing to see here kind of vibe. But you definitely hear like, what are you doing? No, I'm not. You hear like some sort of argument or something taking place, and you're pretty sure you hear what sounds like blade, like the drawing of a blade, like a shing.
Oh, thank goodness we're off those main streets. Oh, I was getting far too busy, and there's too many people, and it was making me very hungry.
There was a few more stores that we could have looked at, though.
We can go back though, right?
Yeah, I think we can. Absolutely.
Sorry, can no one else hear this?
No, yeah, it was. What is that sound? Someone's in distress.
I'm pretty sure I heard a sword being drawn.
We should investigate.
You definitely hear like another sort of like, you won't get away with this. I won't stand. You kind of hear like these kind of like muffled kind of like speeches and cries and things like that.
Hey, what's going on in there?
None of your business. Piss off.
Is someone being hurt?
That's rude.
These two guys just like, you see them, they've got these like thick like barrel necks, very rough, doesn't look like they've shaved for a while, and they wear these long swords at their side, simple armor, and one of them just kind of grips the sword. They can't be from Ashen Rest. You've never seen these mercenaries around, and also most of the people here, like the guards and stuff, know who you guys are, and they're just like, look, piss off, tourists, and they are like step out. One of them.
Excuse me, we just defended this town from demons. Do you think you're going to scare us?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice try, lady. Take your kid with your stuffed toy and get out of here, or something like that. As they see Daisy holding a big plunge.
I summon a knife. I summon a radiant dagger. I don't throw it.
Yeah.
But I just summon it.
They're definitely
And staring.
intrigued at this. You can sort of glance a little bit past them, and you can see that tucked into the plaza now, you see another 3 figures. 2 more of these rough-looking mercenaries, and a very vicious-looking dwarf whose neck has got the earth metals kind of sticking out of their neck and their cheek. And they have cornered a man pressed up against the wall, very quite resplendently dressed, looking quite knightly themselves. They've got maybe a bit of blood kind of coming out of their mouth, and you can see that they've got like weapons in hand, and they look like they're about to fight, but they're outnumbered, like 5 to 1, basically. Hey, Jasper, do you want to come and join us?
I'd love to!
Come on in! So coolly done. Everybody,
Me and my boy.
Mr. Jasper Cara!
Hi. Thank you.
Yes.
So, would you describe the man they see being sort of harassed by these mercenaries?
Yes, absolutely. With sort of dark burgundy skin, which seems to almost shimmer a little bit as it catches the light. You see a sort of medium tall, sort of humanoid figure. You can't quite tell exactly what race he belongs to. He seems to have some sort of slightly elven features, but you could swear there's something maybe even a little bit draconic about him. It's hard to pin down. And he's wearing this very sort of dark, quite menacing looking armor, which doesn't really match his face. His face is quite sort of full and round and happy, and sort of, he's got very kind eyes, although currently he has a bit of blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, and he's screaming, "Get off! Get out of hand to me! I won't stand for this!"
And you overhear this dwarf kind of be like, "Listen, mate, you're outnumbered. Just give us the money and we'll leave off. You can go back to your pissing tournament.
We had a contract! You can't go back on the contract!
We can do whatever we like, mate. There's 5 of us and 1 of you."
And I still fancy my chances, but that's not the point! The point is you were supposed to help me! Where's your sense of decency?
Decency, I'd rather just get paid, me. Come on, hand over the gold. And you can see the dwarf is like pulled out their blade at this point.
I didn't want to have to do this. Come on. How about half the money? And you just leave me alone.
It's definitely a moment where the other mercenaries look to the dwarf like, that's a pretty good deal. And he's like, no, we'll beat him up and then we'll take all the money. Meanwhile, while that is going on, what are the rest
We
of
don't
you
know
guys
this guy.
doing?
I've got a tournament to go to.
Rowan does look to Gruffith for the moral compass situation.
Yeah, there is definitely Gruff. There is a thought here where you could just walk on, because if you end up like getting involved in something here, you might be late to the parade. But this guy is also clearly outnumbered, and he's well armored, but that doesn't mean he's going to be able to take on 5 mercenaries.
I can absolutely take on all of these mercenaries by myself.
He seems fine. Okay. He's totally fine.
He seems a bit meek and vulnerable, doesn't he?
You've got your nightly
I wouldn't say he looks meek. He looks maybe vulnerable.
Taking out the scroll.
Yeah, it's very
Takes that
battered.
far.
Yeah.
It's got stains on it now as well.
Yeah. But there is a serious thing here of jokes aside,
Yeah.
this is a point of you might miss out on your chance to introduce yourself at the tourney. But this guy is, on his own against potentially 5 pretty nasty looking thugs at this point.
You say draconic. What sort of colours are we talking in terms of that shimmering?
I'll leave that up to
Yes, Rex.
Oh, okay.
It seems that he's sort of got a sort of darker hue skin normally, but that's definitely sort of a very distinctive red
Okay.
tint.
Yeah.
I'm sure with that.
Does he have any horns or scales or anything that are visible?
I don't think it's anything visible, but like I said, it's almost like in the same way that you might see scales shimmer in the sunlight. His skin is doing the same sort of thing.
And he's very clearly dressed as a cauldron, right? There is this very you all have spent enough time around cauldrons now, and Daisy and Xanthius, you are cauldron yourselves. There is the way that a cauldron keeps their pride in their appearance, very fine kind of clothing and well made underneath it.
Yeah, and his armor looks quite terrifying. He's got clawed armored hands that look kind of like draconic claws, and I think the helmet is probably somewhere cast aside on the ground, but that is a draconic helm as well that he wears. So it's very distinctive.
Yeah, the helm was actually kind of knocked out of your hands as you were carrying it, as you were shoved up against the wall.
I imagine that I probably don't have my shield or spear either. I'm probably just sort of pretty handed right now.
I think that you've probably got your shield, but your spear was knocked out of your hands, and is behind all of these guys at this point. You do see this very ornate spear that has these gold and red trimmings and detailing to it, and there's also a piece of fabric tied to it that Daisy and Xanthius you would recognize bears the heraldry of one of the regions of Cauldra.
Okay.
Not of North Vale, but of the Cardinal Valley, which is far to the south, and is focused around the town of Emberford.
Right.
And it actually bears the heraldry of that area.
Okay.
I think Gruff is going to look up at the sky to kind of see where the sun and the, what kind of time, it's just he's assessing what time it is. He's going to...
You might be okay, but you might not be. You don't know.
He's going to look at this mysterious stranger, the situation, the spear on the floor. He's going to look at his battered piece of paper, tapping the word vulnerable. And he's going to take a big, deep sigh, and he goes, "It's about what's doing what's right." And he steps forward.
All right, as you start stepping forward, I'm going to pause it there because we are going to roll initiative, but first I need to go get something.
What's the something?
What's
Cake?
the something?
I hope it's cake.
I hope it's cake. Yeah. Maybe one of those things where it looks like something else, but it actually is
Yeah,
cake.
it's just cake.
Yeah, that's the
That's a cake.
all dice are cake. It wouldn't surprise me if you had.
I was thinking if I was cake.
This whole time. What that spell was.
No, I meant
Stream takes a really dark.
what I meant is it wouldn't surprise me if you had a dice. If the hat was cake,
There's a big one back there. It could be.
That could be.
Cake.
That could easily be cake.
Oh.
Whoa, that's beautiful.
Oh, right. You can use that.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to damage the table. It's pretty.
Alrighty.
Oh, we need a tray for that.
Please don't roll
I don't know
that.
where the tray went.
So, good friends, first things first, actually, before we roll initiative, there is something special we need to do, which Jasper won't know yet. So we use a special mechanic in Altheya called the Crucible of Fate. And what this is at the beginning of every session, everybody rolls a d6 to determine the distribution of the pools of fate. So on a 1 to a 3, I get a point of fate. On a 4, 5, or 6, you all get a point of fate, and we all roll a d6, including me, to determine it. All right?
If you roll 1 to 3, it's like heavily judged.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Perfect.
So don't mess up.
Yeah, that's not fun. Why don't you guys all go first, actually? No, think about it. Yeah, I think that
Well,
would
I
be-
normally go last.
Judged.
Judged.
Okay. Okay.
Well, first of all, that's 1 for me.
Yeah, 6.
A 1 for you.
Yeah.
5, that's another dice for you guys in the pool.
I got a 6, which is a dice
okay,
for
team.
A
us.
dice for you.
I also got a 6.
A dice
Oh, so it's just you dragging the team down? Is that
I'm on
Just the
team
way
Mark
it's set.
too.
Yeah, it's it. Thank you.
Oh.
And a 4, so that's another 1 point for you
We are
guys.
5 and 2. This
5
is the
and
most
2.
fun.
Burgeoning.
So, for Jasper's benefit, what you can do is these are points. You guys can spend anything from your side of fate. You can spend a d6. You can use them. Basically, the simplest way is you can add them to an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw.
Amazing.
You can also spend them to try and do more creative things. Like if, say, you want to be like, hey, I noticed that there's a loose piece of stone above where one of these guys is. Can I spend a point of fate to like target that and try and drop it on their head or something like that? You can kind of influence these narrative things. There are also quite, if we get into some fights, sometimes bad guys will have points of fate that I spend to use their special abilities and stuff like that.
Cool.
All right.
And do you? And I assume that's a pre-declaration as opposed to.
It is a pre-declaration, and when you spend 1, I gain 1, and when I spend 1, you gain 1. So it's like this constant shifting thing.
Very fun. Okay.
So that's the thing that we use. But now it is initiative time.
Hey.
I just spend 5 fate on my initiative.
Not something you can spend fate on, as you know.
As you should know.
I should know.
Not terrible.
Alrighty.
Yeah, not terrible, not the best, but we'll take it.
I wanted to go this slow.
Well, let's start with the characters that we know. Daisy,
16.
Oh no.
16 for Daisy. Xanthias,
14.
14. Gruffith,
15.
15. Rowan,
9.
Ophelia.
5. Wow.
Oh.
Perfect. You've actually,
the
the way that I've read that out is nearly perfectly in initiative order, nearly. And then finally,
I'm going to ruin this, I'm afraid.
Atlas,
Hey, Atlas got a 13.
a 13. Perfect. So, the thugs are actually going to act first. They rolled pretty well on their initiative. One of them is basically going to step out and sort of block your path, Gruff, as you took like a step forward. The other 2 that are currently next to Atlas are going to kind of see that there's trouble, not realizing quite what is going on with you guys yet. So they're actually going to kind of pull their swords, but they're going to basically use them to make like non-lethal attacks against you, Atlas. They're trying to like rough you up at this point. They are showing no mercy. They're just like, come on, stop stalling, give us some money, bam, and then they go for a whack.
And I still have my shield. Just
You still have your shield, so yeah, no, you don't have your weapon right now, but you still have your
that's
full
fine.
AC.
I don't need it.
The first attack is just going to completely miss. That's a 7 to hit.
Yep.
The next one, however, is going to be a 20 unnatural. Unnatural.
Yeah, that
20.
hits. That definitely hits.
Alrighty. So this will be normal damage, but obviously, if it did reduce you to 0, it would have been non-lethal. It won't. See. That is going to be 14 points of damage. The first one, you managed to like slip to the side and like dodge the blow, but this just sends you right into like the pommel of the next one's like bam as they strike you in the face.
Well, if I can, I'd like to use my reaction, and
absolutely can.
as I think this pommel comes up to my to Atlas's face, he kind of brings one of these gauntleted hands up, and as he does, there's a flash of fire as the pommel kind of connects, kind of almost like mitigating some of the damage. It kind of almost turns into like a glancing blow.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to reduce the damage by 4, so a huge amount. But so that's just 10.
So 10 points, yeah. So the kind of the blast, the heat wave of the flame sort of rebuffs some of the attack, but it still strikes you in the face.
Nice.
The dwarf is just like, your fancy tricks aren't going to protect you for too much longer. Come on, hand it over. If not, kill him and take his stuff. and there's this definitely viciousness of these guys, and you immediately regretting ever trying to hire this scum.
I realized that this may have been a mistake.
Yes.
But that's okay.
At this point,
Now I realize. Okay.
This one is the two that are near the front of the alleyway. They're going to step up. They're actually just going to ready actions. I'm not going to tell you what their ready actions are. I'm just going to leave it as a bit of a surprise. But they're definitely they kind of half draw their swords, and they'll just say to you guys keep walking unless you want some trouble. And they're just going to ready actions. All right. So after those thugs act, however, Daisy is quick off the ball.
Hello.
Hello.
I would quite like to summon a radiant blade and throw it towards one of the ones that's actually hitting, like maybe the dwarf.
Yeah, they will get some cover unless you move, because you've kind of got this barrel and this wagon in the way that's kind of intercepting your line of sight.
What I might do is I might scooch under the wagon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
like
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, you could easily, I'd say it's difficult terrain for you, but you kind of now, here's an important question though. What are you doing with the big owlbear plush that you were carrying in your arms?
I can take it with me.
Okay. All right, okay.
I'm holding it under one arm.
Okay, one arm. So you can't, I'm going to say if you've got it under one arm, there's no bonus attack. That's your arm. You can't have another
That's fine,
weapon.
I don't want another one.
That's all right.
I only want one.
Okay.
She only needs one.
I only need one. No.
Fine.
Improvised weapon?
Yeah.
No!
But right now,
Not a weapon.
your offhand is occupied.
I reckon you could get some.
Yeah. But yeah, you kind of
That's how I want to get.
like a kind of, you get on all fours, and you've grown up along city streets, and you've spent some time living in some rough places, and you scooch under one of these wagons. It's tall enough that you can scooch under it, and you pop up on the other side. I'd say you're quite close to where this ornate looking spear is. It's just on the ground here, on the floor as well.
Can I summon what looks like the spear, but radiant?
I think it has to be a sword or blade, some sort of dagger,
Never mind.
basically.
I will summon a radiant dagger, and I want to throw it so that if it sort of hits, if one of them's raising their hand to hit the guy, I kind of want to hit their arm.
Okay.
With it, so it's like a,
Yeah, absolutely. Flavor it depending on what the roll is. So you're going for the dwarf, you said, right? Or do you want to go for one of the thugs?
One of the ones that's actually hitting him.
Yeah, so that's one of the thugs.
Yeah, one of the thugs. I rolled terribly though, so 14 to hit.
Does actually hit them.
Okay.
These guys, they're wearing studded leather. They don't have shields, so this radiant blade sinks into their arm. You don't manage to strike the arm as they're lifting it to strike, but you kind of strike into the shoulder as it grazes past, leaving this radiant burn.
Okay.
And you technically, I would say for the purposes of this, there is somebody who is distracting them, so you would get your sneak attack. You have an ally, air quotes, mechanically maybe not in the narrative just yet, but...
What's the owlbear? Plus
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Constant sneak.
Does not work that way. I'm vetoing that now.
Thing is, I
punch
now
is-
have a lot of
Yeah, you got
down.
3d6, right?
And these guys don't. Do I want to outright? See, this is the problem, Mark. Is you've given me a conundrum in that my only ability apparently deals lethal damage.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is like a blade of radiant energy. It's like a
But it's my
lightsaber
only
knife.
thing.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything else.
I mean, these guys have been criminals. They've been scum.
But then you're saying that that's crime to kill them. So I'm like,
I mean, you think it's reported?
How
hide the
busy are the
bodies.
streets?
This area is very quiet.
Oh,
Ruff is
luckily.
literally filling out a police report as he watches this.
Just spin the blade in midair, hit him with the butt of the sword.
I can't. It's a
radiant
radiant damage. I can't. I'm throwing.
Well, I'll put it this way: if the intention is definitely you've hit them in the shoulder, it won't outright kill them. I'll tell you this.
This is what I mean.
I'll say it won't outright kill them.
Basically, I'm trying to petition
It
for
might-
Daisy to have a way to use her abilities, but not outright.
I think if you specifically aim and make it intentionally, what I'll do is if they go to 0, they will be dying, but they won't outright die. So you'll have a chance to go over and stabilize them if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah?
So give them 3 rounds to either stabilize naturally or
fair.
get stabilized.
Go get him, killer.
14 points of damage.
That's fine, doesn't outright kill him.
Because I rolled quite low.
Okay, so the blade sinks in. You hear this like what the fuck, like kind of turning around. Jesus fucking Christ!
Is that one of these guys?
That is one of the thugs next to you.
Oh, wow.
So you watch as this spinning blade of yellow holy light like grazes into their shoulder. They're like, "Oh, by the scions!" And then they turn around. I think that kid just threw like a holy knife or something at me.
Not a kid, and I have more, and I'll summon one. I won't throw it, but I'll just summon it in my hand.
That's right. I have friends, so you better back off.
The mercs look confused for a moment.
Hey, old friend.
14 points of damage. There's definitely a moment where they look confused. I'm going to make a wisdom saving throw for these guys and see if their morale breaks over time. Cool. So this guy, the guy that you've just struck, his morale's broken. Like he's like, "Oh, boss, we gotta get out of here!" I thought we were just gonna beat up this one guy. I didn't realize there were like people with the holy daggers around, and like there's this kind of panic in his voice. But the others are still remaining firm. They're just like, "It's just one girl. After we beat up the knight, we'll take care of her."
I look around at the rest of them.
Well, right now these guys are only seeing the two
they
of you
don't
because
see
they're
it.
sort of
Okay.
like hidden
Okay.
back here, basically. So Daisy, anything else on your turn?
No.
All right, Griffith of Tremoro.
I think, yeah, stepping up. I'm going to step up to the guy that's nearest to me.
All right, when you step up next to him, he is going to take his readied action, and he's going to basically draw the blade and, again, go for a non-killing blow, but it's still going to try and strike at you. But that's only an 8 to hit.
No.
So against the gorgeous new shield and staff, you just batter away the strike as you step up to him.
I'm gorgeous now, right now.
Yeah, we'll do descriptions of everybody for a second as you arrive.
I think, I'm gonna go for a daunting roar as a bonus action. So, like, I imagine, like, as he steps up, this guy, tries to strike him. He kind of pings it off his shield and then just roars in his face.
Sure.
So can he make a wisdom saving throw DC 14?
Is this just this guy? What's the range on daunting roar?
It's 10 foot within 10
Okay,
foot,
so it would just be this guy.
Yeah.
That is going to be a failure. So this guy is
he's
frightened.
frightened until the end of my next turn.
All right. I'm going to say if they're frightened, their morale's like broken. So like this guy, like he is still capable of fighting, but like in terms of the group, he's going to count as like failing his morale basically because he's frightened.
Nice.
But yeah, he's terrified of you, kind of like starts trembling, definitely like takes a few steps back as you just bellow this roar in his face.
Yeah. And it's a bit of posturing as well. Like, it's not the most optimal move. I roll a natural 1 on an attack, so I'm following it quite badly.
Well, I like the idea that you roar, and it looks like you're just lazily swinging towards him, but you're kind of covering for the fact that you fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, yeah, I meant to do
I'll
that.
put it down to, like, this is literally the first attack with my new hook staff.
The weighting
so
is all off,
it's
and like,
weird,
yeah,
like,
this is good.
Oh, I just
Yeah, yeah.
imagine instead of a full attack, you're just kind of just bonking them on the forehead.
Maybe a little
Stop
bonk.
it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop what you're doing.
All right, end of
That's
turn.
the end of my turn, yeah.
All right, the dwarf mercenary is going to go now. He is going to kind of glance over his shoulder at Daisy and sort of look around. He's just like, "I'll teach you to meddle in my affairs. You two deal with the knight." And he's going to take a step back.
I used my reaction already.
You did.
Darn it.
So 5, 10, 15, 20,
That's
25. And he's going to advance on you, Daisy, and he's trying to look threatening, but you've literally been fighting demons recently. This guy does not scare you. He doesn't know that. And he has this kind of vicious-looking hatchet axe, and he's going to take a swing at you with that. That is a 19 to hit. That is going to be 9 points of damage. So he takes a swing with the axe, and he takes a second swing. That is going to miss. So the first swing, you kind of pull yourself back. Maybe there's like a little slice across your arm or something like that. But you manage to pull yourself back. He takes a second swing, but this time you're ready for it. You dodge to the side. He's just like, "Clear off. It's none of your business, girl." After them, we then go to Xanthius.
Xanthius, after a recent wave of victories and praise, thinks he is hot shit right now.
Okay.
And, like, these guys, they don't know who we are.
Nope.
They will. And I'm just going to saunter up, come on, we really don't have time for this. We need to be pressing on. We've got a tournament to attend as the heroes of Ashen Rest.
That's like 15 feet. Do you want to keep going, or?
Yeah, I'll keep going. I mean, I know this guy is engaged with Gruff, which is
You
cute.
can get to here.
Very cocky today, aren't we?
Yeah. He's a
That's
sassy,
cute.
sassy pants.
He wants to show off in front of his cool new friend.
Until he falls.
Who I know very well,
yeah.
if these guards ask. It's B.
They call him old.
You just call me old? What?
And I'll
We're trying to do things.
Okay.
fire out a breath weapon. My fiery.
Your
gold
dragon breath weapon,
My
yeah,
dragon
sure.
breath, which should 15-foot line.
Well, it's a 15-foot long line. It's only a 5-foot wide line.
5 foot wide. Oh,
you'll get
my
one.
bad. So it should hit. I need to completely reposition myself.
Yeah.
In that case.
So you could go here, but you'd still only catch this one guy if it's only 15 feet.
Oh, sorry, no, 5 by 30 foot line.
Oh, okay. So
5
this
by
one.
30.
So you could catch 2 of them, or. Yeah, I don't think you've got enough movement
Okay.
speed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah.
No, you've basically, you can catch 2 of them if you go next to Gruff. You catch these 2.
We've really got places to be, and also.
That's so cool.
They
So dex saving throws.
Dexterity 15.
Fail. Both of them fail.
Nice.
That is 2d6 of fire damage. Wow, 4. And they gain burning.
Okay.
They are
Now
set
on
aflame.
fire.
So he's frightened and burning.
So, for Atlas's perspective, you're kind of backed up into this corner. You've seen very much a cauldron, and like a cauldron girl. She's wearing kind of cauldron dress, little skirt, little embroidered, little kind of waistcoat corset thing, big, bright, sort of like orangey, flamey kind of hair.
Blonde.
It's blonde, but with like, you know.
It's blonde.
Is it just blonde?
Just blonde.
It's because I get confused with you.
I have
It's blonde, kind of like wavy hair. Scurries under the wagon carrying a giant owlbear plush, summons like a holy knife, throws it at this guy, and then from around the corner behind like these stacks of wagons and barrels, you hear this deafening roar, and then a gold dragonborn, like a humanoid dragonborn, steps out and just goes, "Bah!" As a line of fire scorches across the alleyway.
My friends are so cool.
The 2 guards are like, they're on fire, like they're trying to pat themselves out, but they are on fire.
Yeah, and as a bonus action, I will convert my sorcery point into 2 runes.
2 charged
So
runes.
2 glowing runes appear on my arms and body and face and bits.
Wonderful.
And bits?
They're not visible.
Okay.
All right.
Slight glow.
But you know.
Atlas, it's actually your turn.
Okay. Yes, Atlas is going to raise his gauntleted, unarmed glove, and is going to take 2 strikes.
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to also remind you, at any point you can choose to add these to your attack rolls and stuff if you want to spend them. Like, feel free.
I'm okay for now.
Yeah,
I
you're
got a
probably
pretty
fine.
good to hit, so let's see. The lowest is a 14, and the highest is a 23.
And you're just trying to go for the 2 thugs in front of you.
Yes.
basically. Yep, 14 is enough to hit these guys.
Okay, perfect. In which case, I'm going to. So, I will target. Have either of them been hit yet?
yes, there's the one that took the radiant shoulder blade.
And he's kind of like, he's looking like out of this.
he wants to back,
Okay.
he wants
The
to
other
back
one's on
out.
fire.
Yeah, I'll work on the other one.
Well, it's these 2 that got set on fire. This one.
Yeah, this guy over here.
Oh,
yeah.
might be.
Perfect. So basically you watch as I bring my gauntlet up. I do 1 punch, does 4 points of damage.
4 points.
And then the second punch, you see as I kind of rear back again, I actually go for an uppercut, and you see a tiny little stream of fire appears at my elbow, propels my arm up. And I... Yes! I get, so that is a 7... That is 15 points of damage on the second.
Dude's got a rocket fist.
You watch as you nearly KO this guy like with that second punch. He's left standing, but he's like,
Can we say that he lifted into the air a little bit?
Oh, there's not even a question about this. This was like your feet came off the ground, like proper Ryu style, like.
There is a single impact frame, and then he's launched into the sky.
Yeah, not quite launched in the sky, but this guy lifts up off the ground. He lands on his feet, but he staggers to recover. His eyes are all over the place. He's like swinging the sword around like he does not know where he is. He is, really badly hurt by that. His eyes, he's struggling to keep his eyes open at this point. They are looking pretty rough.
Beautiful. And then I'll just do, just for the sake of it, you see that he just goes, ah, for a second, fire appears around him.
Okay.
I'm just using, it's like very brief and it's not that impressive, the fire. I'm just regaining one of my die that I expended.
Yes,
doing
okay,
that.
one of your magic, one of your magic.
I was just like, ah, that's it.
No, he's doing the bit where Goku does he gets his key back. That's what he's doing. He's getting his
drawing in some keys.
Yeah.
I'll say if there's any fire around, he kind of draws it into.
I love that, the idea of the fire breath, because it would leave a streak of line.
Perfect. I'll like
kind of
steal a bit of that.
And you watch as it powers him up. It is fire magic, which is specifically what you can draw from. So
Yeah, you just sucked in my gauze.
lovely.
Ruin it, haven't you?
Rowan.
I don't know why I used that term.
You are next, yeah.
Rowan doesn't step out.
Okay.
Very cool.
Instead, Rowan is going to cast Phantasmal Force on the Dwarf Mercenary. This is a new spell.
Okay.
What's going to happen to
You can see him, so he would normally have cover, but Phantasmal Force doesn't care about that, so.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is, where did you put the plushie?
I'm holding it.
To this person, the plushie hops out, crawls along the floor, the eyes go red, on fire, and then it grows into an enormous plushy demon monster.
Okay, amazing. I believe I make some sort of saving throw.
Yeah, it's a wisdom
That's
save.
amazing.
Okay.
15 to beat intelligence.
1. Extra 1.
So that, yeah.
Yeah. So you just see this dwarf, the eyes go wide like, Blazes, girl, what are you? It's
Your
like,
worst nightmare.
Basically, you treat it as if it's real.
Yeah.
And any illogical thing is rationalized by this person.
I think they take D6 of psychic damage.
Yeah, D6 of psychic damage.
We're aware, right?
5.
Yeah, you guys all
Okay.
see, because to you guys it would appear translucent and like an illusion.
Okay.
But actually, no, I don't think it appears to anybody
No,
but
it's
him.
just in their
So
mind.
he's just in his mind, so you don't see anything.
Right.
But he's like pointing at the space in front of Daisy, like, back, demon! Ah!
Back with me, Ophelia, or
Yes, Ophelia's back there, yeah.
before I do it, I'm like, check this out. And then I do the
How much psychic damage again, sorry?
5.
5, okay.
Brain.
Yeah, he definitely is just like, oh, back! What the hell is wrong with this town?
Oh, scary. Whoa, big owlbear plushie demon.
Would you like to do anything else in your turn, Rowan?
No.
What's
Okay.
a plushie?
For Atlas, because it's Rowan, behind these wagons and barrels, kind of stepping out from behind the building, you would see, I think Rowan's like, what, 8 feet tall?
8 feet?
Yeah, he is what... No, you would know him to be a Jotnir, which is like a half giant, basically. They are rare, but they're part of the Empire. Like they're common enough that you would know them. But he's this tall, kind of pale blue skin,
Big, thick jaw.
Yeah.
But he's got really soft features. Like he's instantly like just a gentle giant looking creature.
He's got like a big scarf wrapped
Big
around his
scarf, green, and also just a nice tunic, and his arms are bare, and you see some geometric patterns on his arms.
neck. But he like looms over this wagon, basically, and like looks down on this dwarf, and you guide the Phantasmal Force. All right, perfect. Anything else on your turn, Ren?
That's it.
Oh,
I wave.
So I feel like Ophelia's gone last because she's kind of reluctant to step in initially. She's just like, oh, I don't really care. But then she sort of looks at the mercs and they're like, unidentifiable mercs.
No one will care if they go missing.
They go missing.
Oh, this is about to get real messed up.
Ophelia licks her lips.
Yum, yum, yum.
Who can I get to within 35 feet?
35 feet. Well, you can spider climb, right?
Yeah.
So you can, in theory, go like 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. You can get to the dwarf. You can get to this guy.
I would like to
You'd
get
have to dash to get to anybody else.
I'll get to the dwarf, please. And Ophelia will
Okay,
point to the
thanks.
dwarf and just say, "The House of Blood thanks you for your gift, and it will be savoured." And she rages. And she...
So just for Jasper's point of view, what you see is a
So,
woman running along the side of this building and over the wagon, scurrying over it like an insect, dressed in red finery and this gleaming armor and like all like decorative like jewelry with this perfect like black kind of like face painted thing.
red.
Oh, it's all red. Sorry, yeah, that's right. And then this dark hair, and just leaps down, and you just watch her eyes go bright red as she opens her mouth, and clear fangs become apparent.
Okay, new friends, we got a problem.
And then yeah, so you rage. You go into your blood fury rage.
Reckless bite the dwarf.
Okay.
please.
Yep.
my
Yep. 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 Yep.
This poor
hungry.
guy has got a
23.
23. Even if I use his parry ability, he cannot stop that. So he desperately tries to like get a blade up, but you're lightning quick. Camilla, Castlevania, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
sink my fangs in and I do 8 points of
8
damage.
points
plus 2,
of damage.
10 points.
10 points of damage. And do you want to make that an empowered bite?
I will do, yes, please.
So that then you'll gain that 10 to whatever you want to do next, basically. So you can. I guess you wouldn't want to gain hit points, would you?
No, I don't need to.
So that means you can add 10 damage to your next attack.
Yeah.
Right.
So you watch as I think. Well, also you're level. Oh no, you're not level 5 yet. You leveled up to your multi-class, so yeah, no second attack just yet.
Not yet.
All right, perfect. But you run round and you just grab this dwarf's arm and bite in, and you, delicious,
Finally.
fresh blood.
Yeah.
Daisy's
as
going like this with the owlbear, like.
You see this dwarf torn between these two terrifying things now.
He's laughing in delight. It's like, yes!
Imagining you're like a dog as well, like swinging it around.
All right. The
Barking again.
Atlas, the two thugs around you, just drop their weapons. They're like, we're not being paid enough for this shit, and they're going to try and run, basically.
Do you play with the rules that you reset your turn after your turn?
As in your reaction,
Yeah.
you get it back at the start of your
Start of
turn.
it.
I always do. So you
Start of
wouldn't
it.
have you wouldn't have your reaction again yet, unfortunately.
No.
So they are going to basically 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then they're going to dash and just run. They just flee the scene. One of them still holding his head from the uppercut. The other one like clutching his arm where Daisy's like holy knife like stabbed into him. And those two just flee the scene as best as they can. The other two though,
You can still take half. Okay.
no, they're just running. The other two are on fire, I believe. Do you want to roll a d6 for me? See how much fire damage they take.
Sure. That's 5 for
that's-
say
it's
the
just
one
5 for
next
both.
to.
No, it's
oh,
just
5 for both.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Pretty nasty.
Yeah, very quick. So they're on fire. I mean, these guys are normal men. They're just going to try and put themselves out. They're just going to spend their action to put themselves out of fire.
Yeah, because I'm a little concerned otherwise.
This one is like, fuck this boss, and then runs.
Oh.
Yeah, on fire. Just takes it away from The one fighting Gruff is like, no, I've got this. Has not quite realised that all of his mates have run away yet. Puts himself on fire and is like looking around like, what are we going to do? Not quite sure what's going on. But that is the thug's turn. Daisy. Oh, actually, sorry, I get one attack with the thug.
You're still frightened of me?
That I have disadvantage, but I miss. Just swings it wildly. Daisy.
Can I, standing with my owlbear under my arm, summon a dagger, look at him and go, I suggest you leave.
Absolutely can. Give me an intimidation check, I guess.
Do I get any kind of advantage? The fact that he's tormented by an owl bear?
And has a terrifying vampire lady next to him. Absolutely, you have advantage.
On his arm.
You can spend a fate as well if you
Literally
want.
attached.
Yeah. You can spend fate as well if you want. You don't have to. Save it.
Yeah. I'll save it for now, maybe, hopefully. Ooh, that one's cocked. That was shit. 13.
13?
14.
The owlbear plush squeaks.
You see that it's this guy is clearly terrified and wants to leave, but there is also you get the impression that he's afraid to turn his back, basically. Like he's like definitely terrified and wants to leave, but now with this demon that he can see and the vampire lady and all of you, he's almost too afraid to like run away.
I will disengage from him,
Yep.
but hold that dagger, and I'll hold my action. If he attacks me or Ophelia, the dagger will be going towards him.
Perfect. Sounds great.
That's
amazing. All right, then we go for Gruffith.
Is this guy in front of me still on fire?
No, he put himself out. He spent his action putting himself out.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do similar. I'm gonna say, listen, boyo, none of your friends are here anymore.
That looks behind him.
Do you really want this to go all the way?
Make an intimidation with advantage.
15.
15. Yeah, this guy's like, he's like, okay, yep, I'll leave. It's not his turn yet, but he's given up. He's like, his morale is broken. He's like, no, I don't want any of this.
I will hold my action that if he does attack, I will attack back.
Sure. Yep. Nope. Sounds good. Perfect. Yeah, he is done with himself. Done with this fight. Xanthius.
I mean, he's right there.
Kim's look at you like.
You really want to disappoint Daddy?
No. The one. Sorry, the other one. Do they intend to flee as well? The
dwarf
with Ophelia.
It's like he's in that thing of like he's too locked in now. Like Daisy's intimidate wasn't quite high enough, but also he's a bit more vicious than the others, and he thinks that the second he turns to run, you're just going to kill him.
Yeah. Well, the one that is next to me, I'm going to walk right past him. He said he's going to give up. I'll say
doesn't attack you.
It was really nice to meet you, by the way.
He's like, yeah, me too.
We'll see you around. And I will do a mind sliver on this this guy here.
Yep.
Just completely destroy what's left of his precious little fragile brain.
I mean, it's psychic damage as well, so it's. I imagine I can non-lethal that one.
Yeah.
Or does he just?
I mean, you can choose. You can choose to blow it. Head up. It's up to you.
So they make a intelligence saving throw. Fail. They take
3.
2d6 of psychic damage.
Level up cantrips, baby.
3 damage.
Wow, really?
I need to get deep.
Yeah, you need to.
But they have a d4 less on their next saving throw.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
It's a good
Yep.
one.
So this dwarf's already addled mind is now like hearing whispers in his brain. He's like, shut up, get out, demon, vampire, what's going on? As he looks around. Anything else on your turn, Xanthius?
no, that is me.
Now with this phantasmal force, is there anything he can do to like prove it's not real, or is it a saving throw?
Another saving throw, yes.
Oh yeah. Is it an action, or does he do it at the end of his turn?
Action to examine the phantasm with an intelligence investigation check.
Yeah, well that's basically going to be him swinging his sword at it, basically.
Okay.
Intelligence, you say? Oh, good. -1. Oh, 19 though. 18.
Wait, did he get a minus because of what you just
Minus
did?
d4.
That's to saving throws,
Good
right?
point. Yes.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm actually going to overrule that and say that in this instance, I think that it would still apply. So roll
Okay.
the d4 for me.
Well,
So he's on 18 currently.
Takes it to 14.
14, DC 15.
Yep.
He swings the sword, but the illusion or the phantasmal force, because of his addled mind, in his mind, the demon Albeg just grabs the sword and stops the blow. But it's actually hit, like he swings and just holds it there because he thinks that it's being held back, and he's just like, and he's like just looking around in pure panic at this point.
I mean, he's also, because of the source of the power of this mind sliver as well, I imagine he's seeing flashes of a
That's right. Yeah, I guess like he would probably see that the demon takes on a even more twisted, mutated form, where some of that crown steel corruption is like almost like empowered its giant claw. It's become more spiked and tendrilled and glowing with golden veins. Cool. That's his action to do that. So he does nothing for the turn. Basically,
Sweet.
Completely believes it. I think the only thing is. Well, no, because he wouldn't try. He's afraid of you getting our attacks of opportunity, so he's just going to stay there. That's what he's going to do. Rowan.
Rowan's gonna step out.
Hello.
So
He's gonna assume where the guy is seeing this owlbear and be like, ooh, and then carry on walking.
Okay. Where do you want to walk to?
Hello, do you need any help?
I'm honestly kind of fine, thanks.
Don't need any healing or anything.
I mean, sure, I took a
Okay.
hit, but I mean, I don't
picking
want to
out my
inconvenience.
lute.
Oh, wow, you're
Fancy
playing
lute.
music.
Strum a chord.
Cool.
And you get a little.
This lute, by the way, Atlas, is one of the most beautiful, finest instruments you've ever seen. It looks more like it's been carved out of stone than wood. It's so beautifully engraved, elaborately designed. Like this is the work of a master artisan.
Is that super heavy?
Oh no, it's fine. 8 points of
Whoa.
energy goes into you.
Oh, that feels
Well,
awesome.
just a moment and then you'll be safe.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. I look round at the what everyone else
The
is
maths
doing.
back there. Yeah.
Let's just watch.
Okay.
I sit
sure.
down.
Yeah. Okay.
You just sit down.
I just sit down.
Use the rest of your movement
Yeah.
to just sit down
Yeah.
prone, like, oh, okay.
Maybe I'll play some like tunes as like background music.
So what kind of is it like?
Benny Hill style.
Yeah.
And I'm just chuckling to
You
myself.
come in as a level of like crowd control, like don't worry, the force is dealing with the situation
Yeah.
right now. Behind Ophelia is like sinking into this.
Speaking of Ophelia, it's Ophelia's turn.
Hi! So this guy is rattled.
Oh yeah, like physically still
Not
quite
gonna stop
healthy.
her. Look at her face.
Physically he's still very healthy, but you can see his mind. Like he's looking at something that isn't there. He tried to swing a sword at some sort of creature that wasn't present. He's like torn between you and it. He looks completely baffled.
I would like a form of dread, please.
Okay.
Here we go.
Dude!
It's one dude.
It's funny.
Do it.
Yeah, I love it. So, for the purposes of the audience and for Jasper, do you want to describe what your form of dread looks like?
So it's basically Ophelia, but shrink wrapped. Like her skin sinks into all her contours, like her face becomes hollow, her eye sockets become deep and dark, and she almost becomes like a skeleton
More undead, yeah.
wearing flesh. And her fangs
Wearing
elongate
flesh.
even longer, and she just looks at this dwarf.
And there's a crown of like broken red crystals hovering above her head now as well that seem to almost pull out of her own blood and just form.
I suggest you run while you still can.
And one of the effects of your form of dread is...
He gets frightened.
Okay.
We save.
Yeah, he fails.
Can I also make this save?
Frightened.
Yeah.
I have no context
Yeah,
for this,
absolutely.
and I'm absolutely terrified.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wisdom save?
Yeah.
-1, baby. Ooh, 15?
Success.
Hey!
So, whatever it is, you can
I
decide...
hesitate for a second and then sit down next to you and just like, okay.
Okay. Maybe it's an illusion or something. She's using
this is
illusion
fine.
magic or
This
something.
is
Ophelia
fine.
in that form, standing next to Daisy, whilst she's holding an owlbear plush, is
Yeah.
quite.
Quite image.
The two ends of the spectrum.
It's like
The owlbear plushie is really helping a lot.
It's like
honestly.
that
Well, not to
picture
that
of the
guy.
houses where it's like the Barbie
Rainbow
house.
house.
Or the
and then
sisters, the goth sister and the
goth
rainbow sister.
and the rainbow sister.
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You also get some other effects with form of dread, right? You get some
I
temporary
get
hit points.
10 hit points equal to 1d10 plus 1.
You'll need those.
And that's it. Yeah, and I'm immune to the frightened condition.
That's only a bonus action. You still got an action left.
Can I just like encourage him to start running?
Yeah. Do you want to make an intimidate check with advantage?
Yeah.
Leave.
I'm making the DC lower and lower like each time. So like your first attempt now, the DC will be lower because of all this shenanigans.
11, 12, 13.
Yeah, 13's enough at this point. So like it wouldn't have, if it would been the first one, it would have failed like Daisy's one. It was 15, but I've lowered the DC. So at this point, yeah, the guy just is like, he'll kill the demon. Is like looking around, like he looks towards you, just
Hi.
"Ah!" Just like, yeah, he's going to flee at this point. At this point, if you guys are willing, we can end the combat because these guys are just going to flee, basically. Unless you guys desperately want to try and beat up some fleeing.
I mean, okay, it's fine.
They all go running off, leaving you guys in a moment. We'll drop out.
Well, that was a very loud 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I guess
hey, no problem.
Feel kind of bad. You all came to my aid. That was really kind of you. I mean, I think I probably I might have died, but it would have been okay. It was a situation of my own making, so I feel kind of am somewhat embarrassed to have received your help.
Now that we have everyone, because you've seen Daisy, Ophelia, and Rowan, do you want to have Gruff and Xanthias just describe what you guys look like for Atlas as well, and then
Yeah, so Gruff will step out from behind the barrels, and what you see is this quite tall, but not as tall as Rowan, Leonin or Wildheart in this universe, with black fur speckled with white. Gorgeous white mane that's very curly. And he's wearing absolutely beautiful armor. It looks very new. There's barely a scratch on it. One of the pauldrons has a kind of a roaring lion, kind of like a Chinese style, like, the guardian lions coming out from the side. Again, he also has this beautiful new staff that it's just masterful. Like, you can tell it's made by a master craft worker. And he steps out and reaches a paw down to you and is like, "Are you well?"
Oh, yeah, I'm super well. You guys look awesome. Can I just confirm they are with you all?
Oh, don't worry, I'm quite used to this.
Oh, no, yes, we're a group, don't
do
you worry.
you keep the form of dread or do you let it fade?
I let it fade away.
Okay, so eventually, life comes back to you. There's also, do you want to describe Xanthias as well?
Yeah, so Xanthias is in very fine cauldron clothing, probably a noble, maybe, you're not quite sure, but a very handsome gold dragonborn, humanoid gold dragonborn with... So almost half-elf in appearance, but with golden scales sort of dotted around, kind of golden horns around his hairline and things. And
He's got a tail as well, doesn't he?
he does have a big gold tail.
Yeah.
And he is looking very full of himself right now. And just
You have some glowing runes kind of around you as well.
yeah,
don't you?
so almost shifting geometric patterns that kind of just keep intertwining and locking in, things like that over his body. Clearly a sorcerer of some kind, a magic that maybe, I guess, you might not understand or know of.
It's his magic is a little different. Like, there's definitely something, that pattern design, that runic style, you've never seen a magic kind of like that before. The fire magic and things like that you're very used to, but that whatever that runic stuff is going on, you've not really seen magic like that before. And you would definitely recognize him as, he's definitely clearly a gold dragonborn, but wearing cauldron kind of design. The armor that Gruffith is wearing, you are Cauldron. You come from a pretty metropolitan town as well. You would recognize that it is likely the work of one of the heirs of Dante, which is a famous line of blacksmiths. They're scattered all around Cauldron. There are different Dantes, all by different names, but they all have a very similar kind of like style and artistic license. And that means it's expensive. Like, that is some very, very fine armor. Kind of similar to yours as well, like that fine quality of armor, basically.
Is that an original Dante? That's a nice piece.
Yes, it was crafted for me by Mistress Elena Vidante. She's actually going to be at the tournament now.
No way.
You didn't get any dents in it, did you? You didn't damage it?
I don't know. Well, he didn't touch me.
Oh, let me look. Let me see. Oh, because if you damage it, that's going to be a problem. No, you look good. Okay, I think it's good actually. You didn't get hit once. Very well done.
Sorry, did you say you were going to the tournament, or?
Yes, I meant to be in the single combat. Are you fighting as well?
Well, I was going to. So the embarrassing part of this is I actually hired those guys because I needed a team to compete later. I needed you know, it needs to be 6, and I need to compete, and so I didn't have 6 as I was 1, so I hired him.
Conquest mode.
Yeah.
Mode.
Yeah.
King mode.
That's what I selected. That's what I selected from the drop-down menu. Yeah.
There was quick
cool.
play. There was PvE.
One
matchmaking for
1v1,
hours.
Capture the flag, like, yeah.
King of the Hill.
Yeah. Deathmatch.
Conquest
like,
mode. Yeah, that's the one I wanted, but
Yeah, no.
I didn't have a team of 6, so I thought I'd hire some of the roughest looking dudes, and then they kind of jumped me and knocked me, you know, stuff out of my hand. and-
Luckily, you've just met a 5-stack, so.
As it is, I actually signed us up for Conquest, but we don't have 6.
So what were you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna?
Well, I
We
guess
were
we
just
were
going to
gonna
compete
find
with
5.
5, but an
That's
extra
crazy.
hand
You
would
know,
be very useful. I'm Rowan, by the way, and I extend a huge hand.
It's so big. I can't even.
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm trying to
What's
wrap my
your
hand
name?
around your hand, and it's not working.
Rowan, softer.
Oh, sorry. What's
That's
your
okay.
name?
I think you get a set. He's surprisingly strong, even though he's. Whoa! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the gauntlets are pretty sharp. I'm
Really
sorry.
strong.
My name is Atlas. Atlas Altar Phoenix. It's a
Oh, wow.
pleasure.
Very fancy name. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. The last name was actually gifted to us by a dragon. So.
Really?
Yes.
We got given a house by a dragon.
Whoa! Cool.
It's haunted, but
Super haunted.
For now.
super haunted.
Okay.
No,
Well,
that's
listen.
okay.
I'll
It's
help you in the tournament, but I do not want to go to your house if that's okay.
Oh,
It's probably for the
It'll be
best. She
fine.
doesn't really like it when strangers come in.
no, we need to repair it. There's a lot of work to be done, but in an amount of time that I'm not sure about just yet, it's going to look great. But
Sure.
yes, very haunted. But
Well,
happy to have you with us if you wish to join us in the fight.
I mean, I think it's the least I could do to pay you back for helping me in the predicament that I got in, and it would be amazing for me. So, well, yeah, I would love that. And plus, you guys are all so awesome. You did really cool things. You know, that was also really, really cool. And
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
whatever the hell that was.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered.
Yeah.
No, but you saw the fire though, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah,
that was really,
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. I like
to
fire
go,
stuff.
guys.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh.
To go.
Okay.
It's gonna be late, and I take out the banner from the. There's a banner that clearly Daisy has made herself.
Handmade, yes.
And it just says "Yay Gruff," but it's really well made.
Like,
and she just drapes it
It
over
is
inside.
insane how well made
It was very well.
this quite simple banner is.
Yeah.
You rolled what, a 30 to make it? So it is beautiful.
Truly stunning.
Yeah, and for you, Atlas, as well, you would know that you're supposed to be part of this parade as well. You've got to announce yourself and everything else. So these guys ambushed you on the way there, and like you're running late as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. What time? We should probably go. I need to go.
You can begin to hear like fanfares playing in the distance as like things.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab my spear and be like, okay. Well, I'll let you guys lead the way.
Oh, you're the knights. You go ahead.
Not a night
Gruffy.
yet, and that's also trailed off as Gruff is
Not
running for the
quite
alleyway.
either yet, but we're getting there. So.
Ooh, nice.
guys-
Not party.
Not a night yet!
Yeah, not quite.
You guys rush through the side streets, kind of using these alleyways. There are crowds, but now sort of empowered with the rush and like being late, you start shouting and clearing the path. A couple of the guards of Ashen Rest recognize you guys. You guys are very well known here, and they start like, "Oh, clear the way! Like, move out of the way!" And they start helping you kind of get through. Like, this way, Gruff, and like they're kind of like pulling you through. You are led in. You see one of the considerates who are helping organize the tournament. This very thin, reedy-looking woman with these little round pince-nez glasses. You are late. Hurry down to the corridor. We'll have to move you into later in the position. This is quite a predicament. I will let the announcers know that we were shifting your position, and very good. Yes, down there. You may take your heralds and any banner bearers with you as well. Go on.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Sorry about
He's only
being
late because he was doing something really knightly, though.
They all say that. Well, go on. Kind of shuffle you along.
Let's go. This is gonna be so cool.
You guys make your way and you join the back of the queue, basically, which is in the kind of beneath all the stands and the seating of the tourney field. You kind of make your way and you huddle up with some of the knights. You can see that there are clearly some of the more prestigious knights are going out first. You can see that they have whole entourages of banner bearers and musicians. They have their heralds with them, things like like that. And outside in the stands, you can hear cheering and music being played, and then the booming voice of Duke Ignarius, the Lord of Northvale. Welcome, welcome all to the Festival of the Forge and our nightly tournament. I know that these last few days have been ones of darkness and trouble here in Ashen Rest, and I know that I have worried many of you in the battle with my actions, but fear not, for if it is not for our brave knights of Northvale and the Empire beyond, even in these darkest times they come to shine bright. And let us enjoy this moment, enjoy the festivities, and praise Saint Misara and all of the hard work of these knights of the realm in the wonders of the tournament. Let the festivities begin! And you hear his booming voice kind of break out.
Oh, yay! Very exciting.
Speech.
You hear the crowd go absolutely wild up above, and the line begins to very slowly shift. Now, because ahead of you are very prestigious knights and things like that, you do have a bit of time to kind of have hushed conversation here, because, the first knight that gets sent out, you hear a kind of like... My ladies and gentlemen, please may I present to you Sir Jevar Caladan of Zenith, the glittering city. He, the master of the Serpent Blade. And he begins, his herald begins telling these wonderful stories about Sir Jevar. And they begin sort of doing all of these, it is said that he traveled for 30 days and 30 nights without sleep, without rest, to rescue the daughter of, and blah, 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 kind of goes on with this amazing story.
Roman looks at the few words he's written on his wrist. I think I need a redo.
I don't really
No.
I don't have any accomplishments.
What do you mean you have so many? I just can't fit them on my body.
But compared to this fella,
I mean, that's saying a lot. If he can't fit them on his body, then he's got the biggest
I do write
one.
big though, and
He
it's
does, he does write very
big.
I mean, all this guy did was walk for 30 days and 30 nights. You saved
rescued
Ashen
a
Rest.
city.
Yeah,
And this guy right now.
and me.
You could vouch
That's
for
two
him,
people.
Yeah,
right?
you could say that you saved me.
oh, I don't want to
And I've
smash-
done some stuff.
Yeah, you've done some stuff, bad stuff.
Yeah.
You saved Xanthias a couple
No, right. No, sorry, I was answering a different
Very
question.
quick.
Yeah.
Is this your first time in a tournament?
Yes. Yeah. I got this is kind of like one of my first times sort of away from home. So it's, I kind of,
Same.
this is the start of my adventure. To become
Right.
a full knight and prove my
Same
worth.
as me.
Yeah. So.
Same as me.
You certainly look the part. Your armor
Thanks.
is wonderful.
Yeah, it's not technically it's my dad's. He's the Flame of Helios. He's quite a famous knight who served Lady Metiona, the dragon that we serve, and he's kind of just a bit old now, so he gave it to me. He calls me the Ember of Helios, but I don't quite, it's a little, and you see that he's quite like he's like a heavy-ish set sort of looking person, and he's definitely slightly uncomfortable in the armor.
Oh, don't worry, Gruff looks the same. He's got a dad bod.
Yeah, yeah.
He's an older looking.
That armor is doing a lot of work
Yeah.
to contain
Yeah.
the dad.
There's a pouch. Oh, sounds like a very noble lineage.
It's a lot to live up to. He sort of has a 1,000-yard stare.
Is there any recognition of the name of Flame of Helios?
Give me a history check. Anybody so I'd say Xanthias and Daisy can make it. Gruff, you could also make it because you like stories of knights and things like that.
I do like
Rowan, you like stories, so you can make a roll as well.
12.
Natural 20.
Rowan definitely has heard it.
12.
12, probably not.
I got a 7.
6. So, for Rowan's benefit, Jasper, do you want to just give a brief summary about your dad's story?
So basically, the sort of legends are that essentially the Flame of Helios was cast down to hell, fought his way back to the material plane, and became a champion of the Lady Metiona. And after many years of service, changed the family name to Phoenix, and basically He is adorned with this like incredibly kind of powerful and striking-looking armor, but he is now said to be retired. And so that's the flame of Helios. He's quite a sort of powerful and impressive champion, and the kid you see before you is wearing his armor.
No crash. At all.
Yeah, no pressure whatsoever. It's so fine. Fine, yeah.
And just because I wouldn't be able to give Jasper the full briefing on like the way the planes work, so by hell, the Helion pit, the twin pits of the fiendish planes, basically.
And whether that is true, by the way, I think is like a relatively that's
like,
the
story.
That's the story. That's the legend, basically.
You're the son of the flame of Helio.
I'm the Emperor of Helios. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've heard that story.
Yeah.
Many times. I tried to write a song about it.
Whoa, cool. My dad would love that. You should swing by and sing it for him.
Well, it is not a good song.
I'm
I
sure
mostly
it's a
sing
great
about
song.
rocks and lakes and
Rocks and legs?
nature. Lakes.
Oh, legs,
I
sorry.
haven't done one about legs.
You could do one about legs. Yeah, that'd be good.
Thank you. Wow. It's an honor to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. You're so
Big.
tall.
I'm a big guy.
Yeah, you're just a big guy. That's
Look how
really cool.
tall I am.
You're
You're
definitely like having to like hunch your neck under these stands, like kind of crouching your neck a little bit. Up ahead, you see
I
the
have
queue.
constant back pain.
The queue has kind of moved along a little bit, and through the slats, you can kind of get a glimpse into the arena. You see a bit of like an ominous figure kind of steps into it now. Doesn't have a herald, has almost these silent banner bearers, all wearing these heavy dark green, dark black, dark brown clothes with these hoods holding these like flagged, tattered looking banners. Ophelia, you definitely, this catches your attention. There's almost a touch of, that the houses of Osseous to some of this, but you see this kind of dark black armored clad figure with a wicked looking like woodsman's axe, and he sort of approaches and just sort of looks around. I am Sir Vraxkel of Odaskir. I need no introduction. And then he just carries on.
Oh, I wish I had
and the crowd is like really stilled, like, whoa.
He needs an introduction. I have no idea who this is. Do you know who this is?
No, none of you would probably know
Sir
that name.
Vraxkel.
Vraxkel, yeah, Vraxkel.
I'm going to demand spelling.
And as you watch, like, you see a couple more of, like, the knights move out ahead. There are definitely some interesting characters. There are existing knights, like Sir Vraxkel and Sir Javar. You would also see at least one knight errant who is a wild heart, but is the more anthropomorphic animal version of a rabbit folk. So they actually, rather than being a person with bunny ears and tail, they are like a full anthropomorphic bunny. And they come, and there's almost like a jauntiness to them, and they're like, oh, hello everyone! Oh, lovely to be here. I'm Willow the Wit, an aspiring knight, I suppose, and I come from Mistwald, and I've been blessed with gifts of the elves. And he starts telling this story, and he's got this bright blue scarf, and he kind of hops around as he talks.
He's precious.
Yeah, he's kind of a bit precious. He like is he's like, I don't really have any accomplishments yet, so how about I play you a little merry song? And he pulls out a little flute, and he's like, and, like the crowd like laugh, and he like juggles while he's thinking. He's a bit of a kind of caddy jester type. But he's like, well, that's me, I suppose. Bye bye. And then he like hops off.
This is the most uncanny impression of Rhys Darby I have ever heard.
I don't know who that is. So.
Okay. You'll know who he is.
Yeah. A couple of others that would take that. You do notice that ahead of you, and this is more for Gruffith, you do see good old Sir Griold, a dwarven marksman. So this guy comes out, unlike the others, he's mounted when he comes out. He's riding this beautiful black drake that he's in the saddle. He comes out in gleaming armor. His beard has been like plaited and studded with gemstones. His hair has been slicked and oiled back, and he has a giant crossbow, this beautiful masterwork crossbow in his hands. And as soon as he steps out, this is clearly like the local favorite.
That's so cool.
And everyone's like, Griold, Griold, Griold.
I want a beard someday.
Greon. Sorry.
He comes out. A herald comes and announces, this man, he needs no introduction. The beloved of
This is
Ashen's
so
Rest,
Greon.
Knight of the Realm,
Knight of the Realm.
servant of Duke Ignarius,
Servants of Duke Ignarius.
the Deadeye, the Marksman, the one who will shoot it straight into your hearts. And he points around in the cheer like,
People in the crowd that are like, ooh,
they do the whole thing like, I've been shot in the heart. Sir Old Steel Eye! And, like, everyone's like, and he like very politely and humbly waves and like makes
I
his way
don't
around.
think I should be here.
I'm feeling.
I don't feel like we have the credentials for this.
You have like a couple of minutes before you guys are going to be the ones going out there. And I'd say that in the order, you can decide who goes first and who goes second.
Daisy will stand in front of them both and go, now stop it! Both of you deserve to be here.
Okay.
Both of you look amazing right now. You armor.
Creole look
Great.
fabulous.
Yes, but so do they.
Oh, yes,
You should be here?
you guys, oh, but...
Did you get hit in the heart?
I got hit. I felt it.
It was so nice.
Rex Kell?
Yeah, he was
I
a
need to
strange.
know.
Needs no
This right now.
introduction? Now that is
Brought back.
spooky.
These are some top tier knights.
These are best of the best.
And then you guys are next.
You guys go ahead. You'll do great.
Toilets.
Oh, you can't go now. No, you're locked in.
It takes
This
me
is
so
the
long to get out of this
masquerade
armor.
crew in a con. Like, once you're in it, you're not leaving. You either piss yourself on stage or you finish.
I grip Atlas by the shoulders.
Okay.
He does
My
this.
friend. It's an honor to meet you. Don't you forget your lineage. You are the flame of Helios.
Well, I'm the
And
son.
you-
I'm the Emperor.
and
It's my
you're
dad's
the son.
Yeah.
of-
Thanks for reminding me again, though, that I'm
Sorry
not him.
about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But
Carry on.
either way,
Yeah.
you are your own person. And you will grow into an inferno.
Oh, cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If that's what
Oh, you didn't have to throw in maybe.
No,
I was kind of there with you, and then you said maybe, and now I'm like,
I'm gonna leak a little bardic inspiration into you for this.
okay,
You got this.
thanks. I appreciate it.
Daisy's gonna stand in front of Gruff with the banner. I don't make these for anyone, Gruff. Not for just anyone. You got this!
And I am your herald.
You have a banner.
Yeah!
A banner. I have a banner. I have a herald.
I've got 3 lines. And
You
those
have
are the best 3
Dante's-
lines I've ever written.
Dante's armor.
You have your
Look
whole
at
village
you.
behind you, I'm sure, and we all believe in you.
You are Gruffith
weight of a
of
whole village.
tomorrow.
It's
The weight of a whole village.
It's fine.
I'm sure if they were here, they'd be cheering your name right now. They would be so excited to see you.
Oh, I don't know about that. They were actually quite upset that I left.
Did you
But-
see Willow the Wit, by the way? Like, this entire conversation is happening behind you. I am
He's like,
enraptured.
he's like peering through the stand, like, she's awesome. Like, you see that beautiful, tall, white-haired lady from Iceheart, Sir Dame Andorra Val of Iceheart, the mistress of the thing of like, and you're just like, like just
Goodness.
what?
What is it? What?
What we're doing, we're trying to build up Gruffith.
Yeah, no, you're cool.
Stop, I see your eyes.
Insight check.
So
Yeah.
you guys are up next now. Mechanics. I love mechanics. So for the tourney, and this will apply for right now in your introductions. It's also going to apply in your matches and perhaps in your interactions in between stuff as well.
Oh boy.
But what better way for a knight to celebrate this tournament than by attaining glory? So there is going to be a thing called glory points. Right? Now, glory points are a resource that you can gain and spend during the tournament. Right? You can spend glory to give yourself inspiration, which I do as a reroll, by the way.
Okay, cool.
You can deal an extra D10 of damage by spending a point of glory, or you can remove conditions from yourself as well, right? Now, technically, anybody can gain glory, but it's only knights who, at the end of the tournament, the more glory points you have, the more this will translate into the recognition you score as a knight. And this
Okay,
will
So if
cement
you
a
spend
greater-
it, you then don't have
don't
them.
have it at the
Yeah,
end. So
okay, okay.
there's that thing of like, do
Yeah.
I just keep saving them up and be this amazing knight that everyone respects?
Yeah, yeah,
Or do
yeah.
I spend it to give myself these advantages to
So-
do things like win matches and
Okay.
things like that? Because there are prizes for winning the combats
Sure.
and the battles. But glory transcends that. You can lose a match, but be the most glorious knight in doing so. The ways that you earn glory.
I can lose spectacularly.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So you can earn glory. The ways you can earn it is you can defeat an opponent, so reduce them to 0 hit points. That will earn you a point of glory. But you can also earn glory by being knightly in your actions. So, for example, letting an opponent stand up from prone before you strike them. Fighting them on an even footing is a glorious thing to do. But there generally has to be some sort of like you're giving something up to do that. Letting an opponent strike you first, like being like, come, strike me, and then you fight them back. That would be seen as a glorious. Anything which is like showing off or...
No, you hit me first.
Yeah.
No, you hit me
first. That could be that.
Immediately, I just thought about like how to farm glory, and that's because I have the hook staff can shove someone prone. So I was like, shove them prone. You can stand like that.
Obviously, if you do things like that, I'm not going to grant it to you.
I guess if anything, that's just going to drain their glory. It's just embarrassing for them.
But it's also, it makes you look not very nice.
No.
Other things that you can do is performing incredible feats. If any of your attacks or ability checks go above 20, you score a point of glory because you've done it so spectacularly that you kind of gain attention. If you win a contested role, so if you and another knight, say, are like grappling or you engage in like a contest of some kind and you win, you get a point of glory for that. You can also, on your turn, rather than attacking, you can spend an action to showboat. And just like turn to the crowd and be like, love me, I'm amazing.
Emote wheel.
Yeah. You can emote wheel. Yeah. And then outside of matches, any character can make a persuasion, deception, or intimidation check once per in between things to go up and basically increase or decrease a chosen knight's glory.
Nice.
That could be you going around and spreading rumors about a knight, saying like, I heard that blah, blah, blah. You can be mean about it. Now, that might reflect badly on the knight. You know, if it turns out that you guys are doing that and people find out that you're friends with Gruff, that might look badly on Gruff. But you could also do it and be like, I heard the Ember of Helios did this, and spread like positive rumors, which will increase their glory as well.
That's so cool.
All right.
They travelled for 31 days.
Huh?
They travelled for 31 days.
In this instance, for the Night Parade, you will have an opportunity, you or your chosen herald will have an opportunity to make a performance check or a persuasion check. And the higher you score, the more glory points you will begin with. Cool. So you might have 0, you might get a couple of points depending on how good your initial introduction is, basically. And then we'll look into doing things like the matches and stuff. So who's going first between Atlas and Gruffith?
It's up to you. I'm not super happy. I don't do a lot of public speaking, so I just want to get this over and done with. So I'm happy to jump in first if you want, or I can,
I'll defer to you. You seem the more experienced knight, and it seems like...
I don't think I think that is the opposite. I left home like a week ago.
Oh, I left home a couple of months ago.
So, yeah, I'll defer to you. Ha.
You go first, lad.
Yeah, exactly. Then it'll look better after me.
Guys, the crowd's getting restless.
Okay.
I'm getting restless.
So, Atlas, you
Cool nights after you.
step out into...
What I will do is I'll put
please.
my draconic helmet on.
Yep, so you put it
So I
on.
do come out looking extremely badass.
Whoa, who's this guy?
And
Spear in hand.
The spear in hand. And I think that, like, what I will do, probably, like, something that he's done a few times before, is I'm going to throw the spear a little way ahead of me, and I'm going to run and jump on it, kind of like, and sort of stand, as it's, like, bedded into the ground, and kind of stand on it as I, like, present to the crowd.
Cool.
And I'm standing on it, and I'm like, once I'm there, I'm like, okay, that was a cool move. Now I just gotta speak.
So you look out around you, and this immense, custom-built stone tournament arena. You can see this box up in the middle, which looks over everything. And stood in it in his humanoid form, is Duke Ignarius. So this is a dragon in humanoid form. He has dark brown skin, big, sort of like long black, not like hair, but like almost like tendrils, like black tendrils. He has one broken horn and one majestic red horn. He has like scars all over his face and body. This is a warrior, and he's immense, and he's like 10 feet tall, bustling, like huge muscles. Next to him are his two children. One is a slightly thinner, more refined looking dragon in humanoid form, who is half black dragon, half red dragon. So his scales kind of shift between the two, and he has these very intelligent, kind of calculating eyes, wearing like wizardly, scholarly robes as he's kind of watching everything. Again, two immense horns kind of coming out, tail. And then next to the Duke on the other side is a very beautiful red dragon humanoid woman. But you do see that part of her arm, sorry, it would be the top of her arm, is all scarred, but she's kind of showing it off almost now proudly. Like it looks like it's been healing and mending, but it's quite scarred and damaged. And she's wearing beautiful red clothing with gold jewelry all decorated around, and she's stunning. But they're all like 10 foot tall, like these humanoid dragons. And they're sort of looking down. The crowd is packed. It is just solid, shoulder to shoulder. There are people with banners, and there is a stillness because you are brand new, and nobody knows like who is this guy. So it kind of goes still and quiet, and you have the floor.
Would you allow me to roll my, because my charisma is terrible.
Yeah.
So this is either going to be a complete train wreck.
Yeah.
In which case I'll RP it that way, or it might go
make
well.
it
I don't know.
first. Absolutely.
Got Bardic Inspiration.
I have Bardic Inspiration.
It's a D6.
Could I use one of the thingy?
Yeah, this is what they're there for.
Because like I really don't want to like.
There is a particular rule with these where if you want to use them, use them.
You don't. You have to ask.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
You just go. I'm using.
I'm using one. Okay, fine. Okay,
So it's another D6.
Please. Okay, that's actually not too bad. 17, 18, so 17.
17. Okay.
17 total.
I'd say that's pretty good. Like not like incredible, like a 20 plus, but very
Hey,
competent
look,
performance.
for Atlas, this is a big improvement. on his normal
So
public
there is
speak.
a moment, like, what do you think represents that change of like him suddenly having the confidence or like working out?
I think like he throws the spear into the ground, he kind of stands on it and does this sort of like Monkey King pose, and is sort of looking out, sees the dragon, and is like, oh, it's just a dragon. Like, this is cool. Like, I talk to a dragon all the time. I'm just gonna, and I basically just focus on the kind of like royal box, as it were, and just be like, I'm not gonna focus on any of the crowd. I'm just gonna lock eyes with them, and I say, I am the Ember of Helios, Knight-errant Atlas Altar Phoenix, of Her Draconic Majesty Lady Meteona of the Cardinal Valley. I saved an entire orphanage from an infestation of rats. I defeated the evil Lillian von Vill in a one-on-one chess match. And I also uncovered an ancient draconic orb from a lich.
Oh.
I'm really excited to be here.
Wait a minute.
There's,
with that.
there is a moment when you say Her Draconic Majesty Lady Meteona, you see Duke Ignarius like grins wide, like this is somebody he knows, and he like smiles down, and
I think if I see the smile, I'll go like right at the end. I'll go, oh, and also my father is the Flame of Helios.
And there's definitely like then there's suddenly like a mutter, like you hear murmuring around the crowd of like, but you see the Duke nods his head. A pleasure to have one of Lady Meteona's chosen amongst us, knight. Welcome to my tournament. And there's this big round of applause, like everyone cheers. Fantastic job.
Spear on the back, shield. I'll turn round and just do a big like.
And you can score 1 glory. So maybe you can get like a piece of paper. So that is Atlas 1 point of 1 GP, 1 glory point.
Do you think he can teach me how to play chess?
Probably.
I don't know.
But it's too complicated for me.
The crowd goes silent again as Atlas leaves the arena. He kind of makes his way through, does like a little lap, and then heads off. And Gruff, you are the last one to come out.
Wait, we're on the. This is it, Griffith.
This is it.
I've got to make you look good, and I don't think I can make you look better than you
I
already.
know you can do this.
Okay.
If anyone can, it's you.
Xanthius,
No pressure.
I'm over here.
What? Sorry, I was. Did you see? Atlas
He
did
did a
great.
very good speech.
Chess.
I know.
And the
Lich orb.
Dragon Orb thing. We need to ask about that one. That's concerning. But no, you're going to do great.
Griffith,
I believe in both of you.
You just look good.
I'll do
Already.
my best at that.
And then, oh, paint
You've got this.
Okay.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
The 5 of you step out. I'm assuming that you guys are coming as sort of, part of the entourage, basically, which is allowed.
Sure.
Ophel's just wiping blood from her mouth.
Daisy
Holding the banner.
like marching behind, proudly holding up this banner. Yay, Gruff! Atlas does. Well, these guys are quite well known here, Atlas. So there are pockets where, unfortunately, not everybody in the town loves you. You have kind of, some people
Piss off a
remember
few
some things
people.
that have happened yet. But a lot of people here, you spot a few friendly faces. You see Maeve. You see the priest, the brother and sister priest from the bathing house. You see Hogrim Hawker, the owner of the Grumpy Hog. You see some of the folks from your street, the kids that Rowan was speaking to. There are friendly faces dotted around the place. You even see Sister Malady and Sister Benedict. Yeah.
Up and about.
Up and about, yep. Looking a little bit pale as she does, Malady, but still there. And you see lots of different faces. You see the blacksmiths, you see Grayson, you see like all of these different people that you've encountered in town. And a lot, like Atlas is the first to cheer, but then it fills up with loads of other people like cheering and clapping.
Atlas has no context and thinks that he started the whole thing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm awesome, I'm great.
I got influence. One-man wave.
You begin to make your way, and it is this big open sort of like dirt floor arena. There's no stage or anything for you. There is the jousting rail in the middle, and you're meant to do a lap basically after the introduction.
Right.
So Daisy has the banner. Gruff, you are standing there doing your best to look stoic and brave.
He's like mimicking what he thinks, like he's seen the night, like, he's mimicking what he's seen them do.
Yeah. Like the stories that you've heard and the manner that you think a knight should act in. What are Xanthias and Ophelia doing? Because we know that Daisy's got the banner and is showing that off.
No! Oh! Stop it! Stop it! Oh no! Yeah, we kill a few demons. We're heroes. We're heroes.
Sure, look, Xanthias, we're here for Gruff. For Gruff.
Yeah, but get them on our side.
They are on our side.
More.
So the two of you are kind of like nudging each other and bickering behind as they do that. And then, Rowan, like you have been elected as herald, so this is your moment, really.
I get my lute out.
Okay.
And I'm going to strum some chords whilst I speak.
And you feel that vibration from Sosanante that kind of almost ripples through the crowd. Whoa. And that first one, there's a silence. Like as it ripples out, it kind of stuns everybody as this bassy vibration almost seems to ripple through the air.
My lords, my ladies, and everybody else here not sitting on a cushion.
All like the people in like the low bits and the standing areas are like.
Why wouldn't you sit on a cushion?
First of all, this is a sponsored message. We firstly want to thank Mistress Ilana Vedante for this resplendent armor given to Knight Gruffith of tomorrow.
There's like some crowds, but it's a little bit, tempered. People are like, yeah, get the sponsor over it.
But that's not why we're here, of course. Upon your eyes, we have the savior of Burnell, Iceheart's most noble wild heart. The vanquisher of Knolls. Quite close to Ashen's Rest, by the way. You're welcome. Exfoliator of the Shrine of Typhine. Hero of Ashen Rest. Whoa! And with that, I will create a silent image of a huge cormorant behind Gruffith that looks like the spirit.
Ice diver.
Ice diver.
Yeah.
This behind him just flaps his wings.
And I think when he does that, I'll let out like a daunting roar.
Yeah.
Like just
Echoes out. It ripples through the crowd immensely.
I rip a solo.
Killer, dude!
At this point, I'm going to have to ask for a performance or persuasion check. Your choice.
performance, probably, with some fate, I
Yeah,
reckon.
get some fate up in there.
Yeah, you want to spend a point
Is
of
this
fate?
something that we are assisting with as well?
I would say that with the exceptional banner, you two aren't really doing that much now.
Thanks.
But I think with the scenario, with the banner and the scenario National's Rest, you can have advantage on the roll.
Yeah, boy. That is a 15, 19 with fate plus 5, 24.
24. Obviously, Gruffith is not a known knight. And so the crowd that are maybe travelled in, people aren't from Ashen's Rest, there was some trepidation. They didn't know who Gruff was when they stepped through. But with that introduction, with the rest of the town, the people who are here, who do know who you are, just roaring with excitement, they kind of get swept up in that wave as well. And there is this just sort of like, raucous kind of cheering and energy that ripples through the crowd. And as Daisy's holding up the thing, you start hearing like, yay, Gruff, yay, Gruff, yay, Gruff, as it like ripples through the crowd. And Duke, Ignarius, and the other two, the Obsidius and Emberissa as well, will look down. My friend, Gruffith of Tremorrow, one of the noble heroes who defeated the demons of the Lamplighters plot. It is my honor, nay, my privilege to have you within this tournament. You're first, as I understand. We expect great things of you, Gruffith of Tremorrow, and to any knightly orders or knights who are here, this is one to watch. And then you just hear this like kind of big.
Gruffith's got the one to watch? Damn, that's so cool!
Boy.
Unfortunately,
comes up in the bottom of the
hits you
screen.
on that 24 versus the 17.
100%, 100%.
I think Gruff will do a deep bow towards the royal box, but if anyone's looking too closely, you probably see a little bit of a shaking.
Just like trembling,
Yeah.
like
Fear
a
in the armor.
little bit of tears in the corners of the eyes,
Yeah.
like trying to keep it all in. And yeah, you are led. You do your procession to cheers and shouts and screams, and then you make your way out as is appropriate. And you will score 2 glory points because you got over 20 on your DC.
Is that me as well?
So this will only count for Gruffith in this part because this was all about your introduction.
Yep.
For Gruff. So it does mean that they're going to start off slightly higher than the rest of you. But whether or not you guys want to pursue glory, you might want to try and make it all about Gruff and Atlas.
Flood you with glory.
Yeah. So
I wasn't getting elbowed in the ribs.
with that, that is the point. We are going to take our first break, though. We're going to take our break now.
Yeah.
A little bit later, but I wanted to make sure we got those introductions in.
Nice. That was hell. Well done.
So that is going to be it for part 1. We will see you very shortly in part 2. Take care. Bye, everybody. We'll see you in part 2. Bye-bye.
See you in a bit.
Yes. Hello, everybody. We're back so we're going to take our 5-minute break now, but we need to. It's Jas Makara, everybody. We've got him here. It was a bit of a surprise. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and joining us, mate.
I'm so excited to be here. This is incredible.
Our first campaign session guest, and I couldn't
What
honestly.
an honor that is.
Well,
I mean,
I think the honor is ours, man.
Come on.
We're so happy to have you, and what a great character to bring in.
Phoenix?
I am
What a
so
name.
honestly. I was obsessing over making Atlas, so I'm so excited.
There was a lot of messages in
was a
WhatsApp
lot.
last night. Of like, Jasper,
But what
like,
am I-
oh, what's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
thank
Great.
you so much for joining us on this one as well. A couple of quick things just before we go break. Don't forget you can get your Clever Toad t-shirt.
Sorry?
Clever Toad t-shirt.
Sorry?
Marcus.
Clever Toad t-shirt. But you can get that. It's available in the merch store.
It's real clever.
I really got Ree with that one.
Well, you said clever chode.
I didn't say Clever Toad. It sounded like it, but I didn't
That's a
say
thing
it.
now.
I said Clever Toad.
Didn't have to say it out loud.
I mushed it
But
together.
I am really
I
looking
knew
forward
he
to that.
didn't get it.
I mean, we can do. Listen, we can do a Clever
That's
Toad.
the next
t-shirt.
one.
We can.
A Clever Toe t-shirt.
No.
But it would be a C-shirt. It wouldn't be a t-shirt.
T-shirt, yeah, perfect.
Right, with that,
Anyway.
we're going to take our break. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in 5 minutes. We'll carry on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to part 2 of Altheya, the Dragon Empire. Our heroes are finally at the tournament, the Festival of the Forge, the Grand Knightly Tournament hosted by Duke Ignarius. But in doing so, in arriving at the tournament, our usual heroes have picked up a new friend. Having rescued Atlas I can't remember the full name.
Altar.
Altar Phoenix. I couldn't remember the surname. Atlas Altar Phoenix, a young Cauldron knight errant seeking to prove themselves in the tournament, just like Gruff, who is being harassed by some mercenaries. And we are
He hired.
thinking that they were going to help him out.
Yeah.
And that is played by our dear guest, Mr. Jasper Cartwright.
I'm so happy to be here.
So happy to be here. Just before we crack on with the episode, Jasper, where can folks find you now that I can formally introduce you?
Yeah, just like on my social medias at JW_Cartwright. I have a couple of shows that I do.
You want to plug any of them right now?
3 Black Halflings. Which is
we love 'em.
with 2 of my dear friends, Jeremy Cobb and Olivia Kennedy, and I also do DM over at Rotating Heroes as well.
Yeah, with a couple of other cool, very
with some cool folks from like Dimension 20 and stuff like that. So it's a good one. It's a good time. It's a good time.
It's a very good time.
It's a very good time.
Very lovely people all around, and I
really
love Jeremy and Liv.
Yeah, they're all awesome people. So
yeah, go and check out Jasper. Jasper's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I think like we've worked together in like little bits and bobs here.
Yeah, we've done like the odd show here and there, but it's so nice to actually be at the High Rollers table. This is very cool.
Super psyched to have you on.
And this table is so nice. So nice.
You joined us when we had our old studio. You hired it for a little bit for some High Roller things when we had some very annoying construction going on nearby. But we won't worry about that. But yeah, it's so lovely to have you. Do you want to just remind us who you're playing and also tell us a little bit about like character, like stat wise?
Yes, I'd love to. So I'm playing Atlas Altar Phoenix, and here's the sort of one of the questions that was going on between me and Mark was like whether Genasi exists, because I kind of had an idea to reflavor it, and so essentially my family is a like long descendant or like distant descendant of a dragon. So instead of them sort of appearing more draconic, they just have some of the innate draconic abilities. So it kind of manifests, and that's what gives him the Genasi powers essentially. So mechanically speaking, Genasi, but actually he's like kind of a distant dragonborn essentially, and his mother is an elf. So he's kind of like again, that's why it's a little bit like, oh, he's kind of like, his ears are kind of pointy, but he's also got a bit of a scaly kind of thing going on. And then mechanically...
Best friends.
Truly best friends. As soon as you did the fire breath, I was like, we're going to be so cool. This is going to be awesome. And then mechanically speaking, I'm actually a Psi Warrior fighter. But what we did is, because we already had all these cool fire powers going on, we reflavored the Psi abilities to be fire-based, basically. So when I did...
not necessarily being a thing in a similar way that we've done something similar with Daisy.
Yeah,
like
that's
changing it from
something
being
that people... I am a soul knife rogue, but we've reflavored it to be more... It's
Radiant
celestial and radiant. It's not...
Same thing. Same
sort of thing.
As well.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I did my little powered sort of fist, that is actually psionic strike, which is where I get to add like one of my psionic dice to my damage.
Cool.
So instead of it being like a telekinetic thing, I just got a little jet booster on my elbow, which boosted my fist a bit more.
Very My Hero Academia, which I'm a big fan of.
Definitely some
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch, as well. Street Fighter.
Atlas Punch.
Phoenix Punch.
Oh hell yeah! Okay. Well, now I'm just gonna want to do mechanically unarmed strikes.
I'm going to point this out now, Jasper. If we start doing combat and you don't name some of your moves, I'm going to start giving you disadvantage.
I have to do this for so long.
I actually do have my spear is a very, very cool item that Mark let me, Mark homebrewed for me, so I'm very excited to use that. There's definitely some cool names going on there.
Okay.
So.
And as a point as well, Jasper's actually going to be with us for not just one episode, but 2 episodes. So next episode, you can look forward to having Jasper and Atlas join us for that as well.
Anyway, have interest. Do you just have a good description of like what your character actually looks like, the armor that you're wearing, and like the ember, not the ember, it's the
Flame of Helios.
Got a lot of fan artists who would be very interested.
Sure, yeah. So essentially, it's like some very kind of dark black armor with these kind of like red like accents on it, and very kind of dark, jagged looking. It's very menacing. It's got the gauntlets are clawed, so they actually finish in like points, like a dragon's claw, and the helm itself looks like an actual dragon head.
I'm getting strong like Final Fantasy Dragoon vibes.
Yeah, very similar.
when you jump on the spear as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then basically when he takes the helm off, like I said, he's sort of heavy set. Like he looks strong. like very strong with it, but he's not sort of like a lean, muscular build. He's kind of a very kind of like rounded. You know when you see like World's Strongest Men, and they're actually just like they're just like really chunky dudes. It's like a slightly smaller version of that. And so he's just kind of got a slightly filled out face, very kind eyes, and he's got his afro. It's got quite neatly kind of kept, but it's like that dark burgundy, similar to his skin. So yeah,
love it. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Very cool.
So excited. And if I get found out, by the way, I am gonna freak out. Like just so you know, like I'm gonna be so excited.
That's not an if. That is a when.
Just check the
I think that this all kind of came together while we've been doing some other projects and stuff. We would love to get some official art for Atlas as well, but we couldn't get it done for this. But yeah, we would love to look at doing that. But yeah, fan artists, now's your time. Jump in and get in on that. Our first like full-on proper
Actual guest,
canon episode. Right, so we jump back in. At this point, the night parade, the opening ceremony of the night's tournament has now begun. It is about late afternoon, about sort of 2 p.m. In Ashen Rest. The weather is cleared up. It is a fairly sunny but slightly cloudy day, so there's a bit of a cooler breeze. It's not too hot. And we are now at the point where, for Atlas and Gruffuth, they will now be participating in the single combat, what is called the Shield Bearer tournament, which is for those who are using a single weapon and shield, or a single weapon in two hands and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So they are not going to be fighting in that. They'll be fighting in rounds. The rest of you, though, obviously this isn't just about those two characters. You have some choices. You can either go along and watch those matches, and you might be able to help or do some fun stuff in that as well. Or you can also go back out into Ashen Rest, where the festival's activities are still taking place. There are things like the art workshops. There are games and things for you to come play and stuff like that as well. You wanted to, but obviously you can change those plans. Yes. Because you can get those tool proficiencies, as I mentioned. But it might mean that you have to miss out on some of their matches. And therefore, that means you won't be able to help with certain bonuses and things.
Out of interest, you said that, like, mid-tournament, we can kind of go around, not rumour spreading and such, but, like, almost
in between rounds, so you have an opportunity to do that now.
But is it, like, isn't it super obvious that I'm Gruff's friend?
So if you do it, that might reflect badly on Gruff. If you try and diminish other people. Now, you could spread positive rumors about Gruff or Atlas if you wish to. And that wouldn't be seen disfavorably.
I'm always tempted to, like, whatever the crowd of the opposite knight, whoever's supporting the opposite knight, almost be in there and just be like, oh, that's rough. Oh.
Well, that would be a different
just
thing.
Fight up their seconds.
So during the matches, anybody who's not participating, you'll have the opportunity of you will be able to do one thing per sort of like match, where you can give the person you're supporting advantage, and that could be you going and sort of like causing trouble amongst their crowd to like distract them, and then that would give Gruff an advantage or something like that. The whole rumor spreading thing is actually between the matches as more of a way of boosting or decreasing glory.
Sure.
But just keep in mind that yes, if any of you do it, that might reflect quite badly on Gruff if you are sort of noticed doing it, which if you roll badly and stuff like that. So
is it the same as if we were boosting Gruff's reputation as well? Okay.
No. If you're being positive, then there's no harm, no foul. Like that's
everyone's
not a problem.
doing that.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be doing it. I guess the way that we do this, also for Gruff and Atlas, I'm gonna give you guys a choice. We can do proper one-on-one traditional D&D combat, or I do have some sort of narrative rules so that we can kind of speed it up, so we're not just playing out like 4 or 5 rounds of D&D combat. But obviously some of your abilities in that might not be as useful in those things. There might still be if you can think of creative ways of using it, but it's a little bit more of a back and forth, making checks, making rolls, and I've come up with some fun stuff for that. So we can do that. We'll say that I'm going to roll a d6. On a 1, 2, or 3, it will be Atlas's at matchup first. On a 4, 5, or 6, it will be Gruff's, and then we'll decide what everyone's doing, all right?
Okay.
So it's a 4, 5, 6. So Gruff's match is up first. This will be a bracket tournament, Gruff. You will have 2 matches. If you win both of your matches, you'll go into the semi-final.
Okay.
Atlas, if you win both of your matches, you'll go into the semi-final. And if we come down to that, I might do a proper D&D.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay.
And then whoever wins that will go on to face the finalist.
Can I ask one important question?
Yes.
Is there any kind of rest in between matches?
Yeah.
Just in terms of like using
You
stuff.
will be able to have a short rest.
a short rest. Okay,
rest,
that's
okay.
good. That's
So
good.
just to understand the structure
That's
of the
a bit
tournament there, you
Yeah.
say they'll go against...
Yeah, it's
Going to the
multiple.
final thing.
Yeah.
Good.
They go against the
That means the
final-
enemies are also going to be in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
it's like,
if they go against the finalists, is there like a set hierarchy of people? Like the finalist is a set person, or
To make it simpler for me,
Sure.
the finalist is a set person.
right? Okay.
As much
they-
as I would
they
have loved
won-
to
yeah,
have written an actual
bracket,
tournament
yeah,
bracket
yeah.
and been here being like, okay, this guy goes through, yeah. And
5 episodes later.
no, the finalist will be the best fighter who I know
I
is
see,
participating
okay.
in this part of the tournament.
But also weakened and with less stuff, right? Yeah.
But then you guys will be weakened as well. And for reference as well, for Jasper, things like we don't really have healing potions in this world. Healing's actually a little bit trickier to come by. Now, you've got some friends who might be able to use magical healing on you and stuff as well. But yeah, just keep that in
I got
mind.
stuff.
You've got stuff as well.
Yeah.
Druid spells are a long rest, aren't they?
Unfortunately, druid spells are on a long rest, yeah. But remember, like any, you can't use directly offensive spells, like spells that do damage,
Moonbeam.
basically. You can't use Moonbeam, but you could use a spell like if it knocks somebody prone or if it buffs you, you can use that magic on yourself in this tournament, but you can't directly strike or damage somebody with magic. Not in the Shield Bearer tournament. In the Conquest, which is the team match, anything goes.
Anything.
Anything goes. You will still be held accountable for crimes.
Yeah.
But there's
go.
in the Conquest, they will have there are healers that when somebody goes down, they will cast Healing Word at the end of a turn. Anybody
Right.
who's down in the Conquest at the end of a round, so the full round of combat, they'll cast Healing Word on anybody who's down because the Conquest is not about knocking your opponents out; it's about an objective.
Are they-
so
they-
you'll kind of get an automatic heal. So you'll be able to use things like your Radiant Blades without worry of like actually killing somebody because they'll just heal.
Are they then
everybody.
eliminated from the fight, or are they?
No, there's it's. You'll
They
find
carry
out.
on.
You'll find
It's
out
a
more
respawn.
about that tomorrow. It is
Yes.
effectively a magical respawn.
Yes.
in a
Yes.
sense.
Okay. No,
but it's
for
magical
now,
healing.
The single combat.
Single combat. So Gruff, you are up first. Would you like to do narrative, or do you want to do normal D&D combat?
I'll do narrative.
Okay, great. So you will be going up against.
Raxkel.
Oh, he's absolutely the finalist.
Needs no introduction.
You are going up against Sir Javar Caladan of Zenith, the Glittering City. So this is a slightly tan skin, maybe not like fully dark skin, like, you know, somebody who lives in a very sunny area, but kind of like tan skin, dark hair, wearing bronze gilded, brass kind of glittering scale mail. They fight with this fine sort of rapier and a bladed buckler, basically. So it is a shield, but it is also an offhand weapon.
Okay.
And you can see that they're very, very well dressed. They're very smiley and polite. They're on the other side of the arena. It's a much smaller kind of like squared bout ring. There's not a lot of terrain in it. There's no real terrain to use. There are like patches of dirt and ground and, you know, grasses and things like that. But this is not a you can use the terrain to your advantage. This is pure martial skill, basically. And they come over. You are the one that the Duke spoke most wonderful words about. Griffith of Tremoro. A knight errant?
Sorry, Kim, out of character. Knight errant is.
That's somebody who's already been set their test.
So
You
I
are
have-
basically just a warrior at this point. You're
Yeah.
looking to attract a knight in the order.
Not yet. I'm aiming to become a knight errant through using this tournament to attract the attention of some mortals.
Very well. Well, pleasure to meet you. I hope that we can have a good match. Yes, I look forward to seeing how things progress. You are quite the crowd favorite, so we'll see how you measure up.
Well, it is an honor to fight you, Sir Caladan, is that? Sorry.
Yeah, Javar Caladan.
Javar
Yeah.
Caladan. It is an honor to fight you, Sir Javar Caladan. This is my first time in a knight's tournament, and so I am very gracious that you are my first opponent.
You can see, like, when you say that this is, like, your first time in a tournament, there's a bit of a smirk, like, a bit of a smile. Not like an arrogant thing, but he's like, oh, good. Like, this is, like, maybe an easy match, basically. So he's like, well, if you have any questions, you can always ask. I've done a few tournaments now. I know my way around the ring. This is my preferred format. But yes, good luck to you, Griffith of Tremoro, and I hope that you attract whatever order you are looking for.
And to you, sir.
Oh, very good. He goes over to the other side. You kind of have a bit of a boxing match, Rocky, where like you can have some people like on your side, like in your little corner.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to interfere. Any interference from the outside, you're disqualified. Like if somebody casts healing spell on you, then yeah.
Without subtle spell, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yes,
like...
if you had things like subtle spell, obviously, and there might be, you know, if you intentionally like, well, I'm going to cast it on them to get them disqualified, so you cast it on like the opponent, there'd probably be an investigation, and like it'd be a whole thing. So, and it's also not in the spirit of the tournament.
I think Gruff would be very upset if anyone.
Oh yeah, I'd be furious.
You might just throw a fireball into the ring.
Do that.
Do that, not me.
So while Gruff is getting prepared, what about the rest of you? Are people going to attend Gruff's match? Are you going to go off and do other things? Like who's doing what?
I'm happy to be in Gruff's corner
Okay.
and giving you like the you know,
You got the towel
wet
around
towel,
your hair, like wiping his face.
the shoulders,
I don't
massaging.
really know what this is doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. That's what the other person's doing over there.
Right, okay. I mean,
Does this help?
act up to it. I don't know. You just hit a nerve.
Okay, here we go.
I will say, Gruff, I'm there too. You did very good in making them underestimate you, saying this is your first match. Very good work. Get in their heads.
Yeah, that absolutely.
I know it is actually your
was
first
a head
fight,
game
but
thing.
they might be thinking this is easy for them. But no, it's not. You're Gruff.
I'm Gruff.
You are glorious, Gruffith.
Yes.
Remember to aim for
Glorious.
glory.
Glorious Gruff. Showboating and all the stuff that perhaps I
Being
wouldn't.
respectful, dignified,
Respectful. I can
honourable.
do that. I can do those. I can do those.
And if you have a spare moment, just turn to the crowd. They'll love it.
You think so?
Oh yes.
Well, actually, yeah, you're cauldron, so you'd know.
Oh,
Right.
they would lap it up.
Okay,
I
sure.
put a soaking wet towel on your face.
Like a cat, you like really recoil.
Like the cheese.
Like, you know, the head just like goes down.
Sorry. Maybe after a round, I'll do that again.
Saw my life flash before my eyes.
So what about Ophelia and Daisy and Atlas as well? What about you guys?
I think Ophelia will take a seat. She'd want to watch Gruff.
Okay, you want to be up in the crowd, sort of watching. Okay, yep, great.
Yeah, probably be in the crowd with the banner.
Okay, yep.
I think she's going to position it opposite the royal box or whatever, like the important people, and just be like,
Yeah.
and just stand there.
There's
Very
definitely
quietly.
one thing you would notice with this one is held in sort of like there are like multiple matches going on at once. So imagine you've kind of got like two matches going on side by side. You notice that the Duke is the only one who's watching this. Obsidious and Emberissa are not watching this one. These are kind of like the warm-up tournaments. These are like the more minor tournaments. So tomorrow,
I'm surprised the Duke is watching these.
oh, the Duke's like what he loves it. He loves watching combat.
battle.
He loves a battle.
Is he like really dignified for the most part, but then when something big happens, you
Oh,
kind
he's
of-
like, good blow. Yeah, he's like
a football dad.
He's definitely a football dad. Yeah, he's definitely a bit of a football dad.
shirt over his head and starts running around.
Not quite to that level, but there's definitely he's like that reserved dad of like he's like very good drinking his like wine.
Except for when he shouts referee, they actually
yeah, all of the judges are like, oh my god,
the rules will change it.
Referee's getting executed.
What about Atlas?
Atlas is going to be in the crowd. You see, Atlas has sat down, gauntlets off, and is got a little notebook, and is furiously
nice.
taking notes on like every single
Nice.
knight he's seeing,
Okay.
studying forms, studying like if there's any potential opponents on his side of the bracket. He's like, okay, looking at their movements. I'm not necessarily expecting this to have a mechanical impact, but like that's absolutely what Atlas would be doing.
It might do. It might do. All right, perfect. All right, so Gruff, you are up to fight. There is a kind of like, all right, you kind of brought in a little bit of a sort of like bow, and then you go to your corner. The way this is going to work is I'm not going to make any rolls.
Okay.
You are going to choose, you can do things like make an attack roll, use an ability check, cast a spell, whatever it is that you think you want to do. If it is an attack roll or ability check, you'll have to roll it. If you beat certain DCs, you will score a point towards victory, a progress. You'll get a point of progress, right? You get 1 for a normal success, you get 2 if it's a high number. The more progress you mark, the better, because at any point, you can choose to try and finish the fight. Right? And when you do that, you roll a d20 and you add however much progress you have.
Okay.
Right.
If you can beat the DC, which it will slightly vary depending on the opponent, but if you can beat that DC, you win the fight.
Okay.
If you fail the finish the fight check, you lose the match. Now that it's a bracket, so you might have an opportunity to advance later on and stuff.
Can you add fate to the finish?
I'm going to say you can't add fate to the finish the fight,
Right,
but
yeah.
you can add it to the other ones. Or if I did allow it, I'd be like, well, I get to increase the DC. Points.
Yeah,
You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure. That makes sense.
That kind of thing. There is, and I'm not going to tell you exactly the DCs or what numbers, but I'm also going to be tracking how bored the crowd gets. Because the longer it goes on, the more bored the crowd will get, and the less glory. You might not get any glory if the crowd is too bored, right? Because they'll be bored by the fight. So you've got to balance that, like, how quickly do you finish the fight versus how much boredom can you risk? Now, those of you who are watching and not participating in the fight, you can do one thing each. And that choice can either be, you can try and boost Gruff by giving like a word of encouragement, like, come on, Gruff, make a persuasion check. You can try and distract the opponent by doing something, I don't know, using deception or using sleight of hand, or whatever you can think of, right? Let your creativity go wild. Or you can try and hype the crowd up and reduce their boredom. So you can almost buy more time.
Okay.
So you can be like, oh, look at that, it was really good. Like, you can try and like keep them interested,
Start a
basically.
Mexican wave.
Yeah, or like playing music, or like, doing whatever you want. Like use intimidation to like start a brawl with somebody and like to get the blood flowing. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing.
So think about that. But it's going to basically work with in between each of Gruff's rolls, one of you can jump in and be like, I want to do a thing, basically.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
So and it starts off, and it's you led. You tell me like what's your approach. Like you can see, Sir Javar has kind of got this bladed buckler, takes like this stance and advancing on you. How's Gruff going to engage?
So I think Gruff will just stand in kind of, I guess, on his side of the square, kind of a very solid sort of, an earth stance, very
Low center
kind
of
of,
gravity, firm and solid.
ready for this.
Yep.
And then he's gonna kind of spin his staff, hit it twice on the ground, extend a paw, and just gesture for them to come at him.
Okay, great. Give me for this roll. Now, is this intended to show back to the audience, or is this to kind of just give them an opportunity to come to you?
But both. I think my idea as well is while they were running towards me, I would activate the armor of oak and thorns.
Okay, great, perfect.
so, yeah.
We'll track those because you are expending uses of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So your action is actually to activate the armor of oak and thorn. Give me an intimidation check.
Oh, okay.
Because this is kind of like, this is your sort of like, come here kind of thing.
If you do it low, it kind of looks like a cat kneading the air. And everyone goes, ooh, big stretch.
I would like to use fate on this one, if that's all right.
Yep.
Get those biscuits made.
14.
14, okay. For this, I'm going to give you 1 progress for the Armor of Oak and Thorn, because that's a cool ability. It would absolutely help you in a fight. But that intimidation doesn't quite land. You can see Javar's like, I don't think so. I'm not so foolish as to be goaded in that way. And takes a much more sort of like, he does some like testing strikes, but is not going to fully commit into like launching into an attack against you.
Okay.
Do I get any glory points for letting him come at me first?
Yeah, I'll give you a glory point for that, yeah. So you can go up to 3. So like the crowd is definitely like, you're almost like, yep, come and strike me. Using the armor of oak and thorn is quite majestic. And yeah, you see Javar kind of like does some, testing things. There's a little clash of steel as your staff and his scimitar kind of bounce against each other, but nothing fully engaged. Does anybody want to jump in and do anything at this point?
Not yet, I think for me it's early in the fight.
For early doors, all right.
Can I have an ongoing thing?
What do you want to do?
And it will count for just one roll.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Narratively, it can be ongoing.
So, like Tom and Jerry, or movies that have specific soundtracks that match
Oh,
the
right.
actions.
Okay.
That's what Rowan's doing with the guitar.
Okay.
So when Gruff goes for a it's not
comedic.
although there could be a couple. When Gruff goes for a big strike and it's particularly
You have a
heroic,
motif.
I add leitmotifs
Yeah.
of Gruffith.
The Gruff
to it.
motif, the Gruff theme.
And,
But when the other knight is going, it's.
don't mark the other knight.
Sure. Give me a persuasion check. Performance check. If you succeed, you will give advantage.
Can you like clear your dice tray before you? Because he's got a ramp.
It's-
you just like.
It is insane how you're trying to roll in that thing. It's so full.
There is so
Well.
much stuff in there.
12 total. Unfortunately, that's not enough. So you're playing the music, but it's being drowned out a bit by the crowd and the sound. Like,
I need an amplifier.
yeah. It's also like the music's just pleasant. Like nobody really. I guess maybe the audience aren't musicians enough to realize that you're playing a specific heroic motif for Gruff. They're just like cool music, man. Like they're just like doo doo doo. But no, unfortunately, you don't grant advantage.
no worries.
So what does Gruff do next?
Does this follow the kind of like bonus action, or it's just?
It's more narrative than that.
Yeah.
So like you just tell me what you want to do.
So I will go for another strike, but I'd actually like to try and use the hook staff for this one to try. I guess, try a shove attack, but I want to pull them towards me.
Yeah, so you'd use the hook end to pull them. This also just make an attack roll, and you're just trying to beat the DC, same as if you were making a skill check.
Okay, so it would be, would I be able to use Shillelagh? Because
Oh,
that will...
yeah. Assume that you've got Shillelagh on for this fight. Yeah, absolutely. You'd be fighting at your best
14.
condition. 14, okay. The strike, you try and hook, but Sir Javar is so agile and quick on his feet, he quickly, nimbly, as you try and grab his hook, and he's just like, and he kind of gets some strikes on you and things like that as you do so. You are going to maybe occasionally take damage as well to represent these fights like ongoing, and also to deplete resources a little bit for both of you. So when you fail like an attack roll or anything like that, you might take a little bit of damage back as well. He gets some strikes in on you. You kind of exchange blows. You try and hook him. You don't quite pull him or like knock him down. He does about 9 points of damage to you in these kind of like flurries of strikes back and forth. And unfortunately, no progress is marked on that either.
But I would be healing with the armor of oak and thorns as well.
That's true. So what was it?
So
4
plus-
points you get?
So I get 4 points. So
So it'd only take
4 off
5,
and
yeah.
then-
So just take it off the damage-wise, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, you still gain the new temporary hit points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're attacking, we're just not going to do it like AC and like,
Yeah,
we're just,
yeah.
we kind of make it a bit more interesting. So the crowd is like still fully engaged at this point. They're still enjoying it. Like, it's a back and forth. Anybody want to jump in with anything? If not, we'll just go straight on.
I'm okay for now.
If I'm trying to study the opponent.
So I'm going to give you a choice, right?
Yeah.
You can either, if you want to study the fighting style of Gruff and Sir Javar, you will basically make a check now,
Yep.
but you can't influence the
Influence
fight in
it,
any
yeah,
other way, right? Or if you want to help out Gruff, you would have to stop taking notes and focus on that side of things.
I think
I'll give you a choice.
I think I'm going to take notes purely because I feel like if Gruff's anything like Atlas,
Yeah.
he wouldn't want anyone to like
try and
influence the.
Yeah,
you
or
know what I mean?
like-
He'd want it to be like, no, I
wants to
had
focus.
to actually earn this.
Okay.
So I'll focus on just studying the
All right.
two.
Can you make an insight check for me?
Not investigation. Are you 100%? I'm studying like the mechanical movements.
I will allow an investigation. I will allow it.
Thank you.
Benevolent.
Nah, doesn't really matter. 8.
8.
Yeah.
You study, but there's. I mean, I guess I'll leave it up to you to describe like why this. You're like distracted. Maybe you get too involved and you forget to like take notes. You get so wrapped up in the.
Yeah, I'm
environment
probably
of
just
it.
really excited to be here.
Yeah.
just kind of
Somebody comes by with like some snacks. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
You're like,
absolutely.
got some
Yeah, I
coins.
buy some like oversized hot dog and I'm just sat there and then I realize there's ketchup all over my notebook. I'm like, oh man, all my
Amazing.
notes are smudged.
All right, Gruffith, what do you want to kind of follow up on now? So don't worry about too much about the mechanics. Think
Yeah,
creatively.
no,
like this
I
is
was-
like a back and forth fight.
I have a very silly question.
But that's what this is. What it's about, right? Use all skills. Use everything that you want.
Is there any water, like barrels of water or anything
There
like
could
that?
be.
Yeah.
If you want to spend a fate point, I'll let
So
you.
I kind of had this idea of a little bit of showboating, like where to kind of show where Gruff is from Ice Heart, and he would kind of make some funny quip about taming the seas and stuff like that. But I wanted to kind of use shape water. Yes, I do have it as a cantrip to kind of like. Just any barrels of water or anything like that, kind of almost make them create like little tendrils that dance and like splash and like kind of harmlessly splash into the arena.
Yeah.
But it's very much a showboating.
Oh, in that case, I won't even ask for fate points. If you're just doing this to showboat, that's the action, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just turn around, and it means that basically you'll gain a glory point because you're basically just showboating to everybody.
Yeah.
But you just won't make any progress in the fight.
No.
But yeah, easily done. You basically are like, you kind of exchange some blows, you don't take any damage, but you don't make any progress in the fight. And so Javar almost takes this moment, he sees what you're doing, and he'll sort of like let you showboat a little bit because it's kind of the done thing as a knight. He's like, oh yeah, very good.
Again, like...
You're kind of like, yeah, the boredom track doesn't go up, like you just kind of
Splash zone.
yeah, like people are like, oh, like things like that. You make like maybe use the water shape to like make some ice divers like out of the water, jump from barrel to barrel, and things like that. Absolutely, yeah. So you gain a glory point. You can't do that again this fight though, because that's not. You've done that already. All right. Do you want to do something else?
I was just thinking. Yeah, I guess while I'm showboating, like, is there could there be an opportunity where Sir I've lost his name.
Sir Javar.
Sir Javar is a little bit distracted, and I take the opportunity to maybe knock his feet out, like spin with the staff and knock his feet out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can either do that as an attack roll, or you would make it as a athletics test versus his acrobatics.
I'll try. I'll try athletics.
Okay, great. I'll make an acrobatics roll. I'm actually going to spend one of my fate points to add to it, though.
Okay.
He's a nimble little bugger.
We get total. No?
7 points.
7 points.
7.
He, and like, you know, he did say he's quite a skilled knight. Like, he sees this coming. Like, you've already tried to grab his leg once. He actually waits. He jumps and lands on your staff and, like, boots you, like, kind of, like, kicks towards your chest, strikes you with a scimitar, does, like, a little backflip. He got, like, a 20, basically.
Yeah, I roll real
So
bad.
he gains a point of glory. Like, he looks amazing when he does this. You kind of, like, stagger back.
And I think, if anything, Gruff would be would be in awe himself, you know, how talented that was.
Yeah. And so he kind of like sends you back, you reel a little bit. You would take, that would be 10, so 6 more points of damage from that cut as he like strikes you back. At this point, the crowd, you know, they're kind of like, that was an amazing move. They're very excited by it, but this match is kind of going on a little bit now. They're like still interested, but it's slowly beginning to decline. You've not made much progress as well. Like, this guy's very much dominating you in the ring.
Can I try and get a chant going? Yay, Gruff! Yay, Gruff with the banner.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a persuasion roll with advantage. Because you've got the banner.
Yay, Gruff.
That banner was so well made, any time it is used, I am basically giving advantage on it. Because it was like a 30 to make.
I would like to strangle the bad guy with the banner.
Oh, it's so well made! It's so well made!
18.
18 success. You have advantage on your next as you feel the crowd chanting Gruff. You feel this like, oh man, you're starting to doubt yourself, like this guy's really good. And then you hear the chant, you're like, no, I've got to do this. Like, you feel empowered to do it. So you have advantage on the next roll. What would you
See
like to
the
do?
ice heart colours on the banner. Yay, Gruff! Yay, Gruff!
My home. I think. Can I go for a combo of a daunting roar and then a charge to attack?
Absolutely. With this, you don't need to make a roll because you're using up the daunted roar. You charge forward, and that roar is enough. Like, Sir Javar is startled by it, and he like slips on his footing, and you shoulder barge in, and you get a solid strike on him, forcing him back. But you can see that you've definitely hit a landing blow. I'm going to mark 1 progress automatically.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So you kind of like shove him back. He's now on the defensive. Does anybody want to jump in, or should we just go straight into another push from
I think
Gruff?
just like bolster Gruff, just like, yes, Gruff, good hit.
Yeah,
Keep
absolutely.
going.
Yeah, do you want to make that as a? I'll let you do either persuasion or intimidation because it's quite a forceful thing that you're yelling. So
Intimidation.
sure, yeah.
A natural 20.
Natural 20. Yeah, so you still have advantage on your next roll as well. That
Nice.
like kind of pushes you on.
Okay. We're cooking.
Shall I try to finish it?
Finish the fight.
Yeah.
So right now you have 2 progress. You'd have a +2 to the roll.
Do you get advantage?
I would say you would get advantage. On
that
it. You
seems
can't
like-
add fate, but
that's
like
not a bad
like
time,
you're almost
you know.
like using that momentum, and you hear Ophelia call out,
Yeah.
and you're like, maybe this is it. I can
mean,
try and
it's
finish it. Just keep in mind, it's a
high
risk
risk,
because
yeah.
if you fail it. You lose the match, but right now the crowd is
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
roaring.
So,
They're like, "Yeah!"
I think you should carry on because you can, with advantage from that, you can still get some more progress. I think. Also, I've still got my time, and I want to boost you as well.
You want to boost me?
I'll boost you next
You want
time,
to boost me, boy?
Not to game it, but
No, but you
but
don't game it. But it's a game. It's a
Yeah.
game. That's 100%
The
game
audience
it.
is still going, so you're not going to get a penalty for them being bored right now. So
Yeah.
you may as well make some more progress
Yeah.
what you can.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe kind of leaning into the showboating a little bit. I want to cast the spell Sleet Storm. So it's a 20-foot tall cylinder with a 40-foot radius. So is that too big for this?
Fill this
It will
the area
fill
you're
it?
fighting, basically. Yeah,
So
nearly,
I might
quite
fall
nearly.
over as well. That's the thing. It
Yeah, but
basically-
this is your spell, and you come from Ice Heart. Like
Yeah.
I know because this doesn't do damage, right?
No.
It makes it all like slippery
It basically
terrain.
makes it slippery. They need to make a dexterity saving throw.
this is just after you've charged into them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you, because it's a resource, right? It's a spell slot.
Yeah.
If you spend it, you just gain progress because
Yeah.
you're spending resources to do it.
So again, and Gruff will be a little bit of a fancy boy casting it, like spinning his staff around and being like, "Allow me to bring you a bit of my country to this arena."
And you feel like the ground, all that water that you caused earlier begins to freeze over as you watch. Like all the crowd are like, oh, they kind of shiver for a moment as the whole thing becomes slick. And Sujavar is struggling to keep his footing. He's agile, but he's not used to this. He comes from a very sunny, tropical kind of climate. And you skating with your paws, like you cause a spray of ice, like from the ground, like blinds him for a second, and then wham, wham, sending him reeling as he goes back. That's a point of progress.
Nice.
Come on, Gruff, now's the time! Fight like I'm dying! So weak, so vulnerable! Save me, Gruff!
Firm, say the third one.
Infirm as well!
Yeah.
All right, persuasion check from Xanthias.
That is a
All that talk.
9, I believe.
9 is not enough to give advantage
No,
at this point.
but still.
Maybe a bit distracting, thinking like, oh god, like is Xanthias like in
Has he
trouble?
been doing that?
Yeah. So no advantage, but you are at 3 progress. The crowd though is loved like that. They're still really hyped at this point. It's it's been about 5 sort of turns effectively almost. So they're still enraptured, but like if you keep going longer than this, we're gonna start pushing it. What do you want to do?
I think I'll finish the fight.
Try and finish the fight. All right. You have +3 to the roll.
You have fate to this?
Oh,
No, he's not affected
To this.
I'm rolling really badly today as well.
You got this. You got
Near
this.
me.
But now this is when you're going to roll that nat 20.
Yeah.
Yay!
Gruff.
Yay!
14.
Oh, 17.
17.
Is a success. So you watch, using that momentum, like you skate along the ground, the whole floor is slippery. This is your environment now. You slam the staff in, you plant it through the ground, smashing the ice, pull yourself up, and 2 paws kick into Sujavar. He goes flying back, his armor kind of caved in. You then land and bring blow after blow after blow, and he just can't keep up. He's desperately trying to parry and defend, but eventually he gets staggered back and he just drops the weapon. I yield. And you can see that he's like wheezing and huffing and breathing. He's just like, well fought, Gruffith of Tremor. That was very good. I was not expecting this. And he kind of points to the icy terrain. Very creative use of magic. The scholars in Zenith would be very interested in your style of fighting.
Oh, thank you. It was a great honor to fight with you today.
Oh, yes, perhaps I should have warmed up a little bit more. I think that perhaps I was not prepared. But perhaps in the second round I will do a bit better.
You taught me a lot today.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yes, and he seems to be like, yes, I did teach you a lot. Yes, a mentor role. I'll accept this.
Because I'll offer a paw to.
Oh, yeah, he'll
hold it
I'll pull that up, yeah.
And as he stands up, can I cast a Cure Wounds at level 1?
I'm going to say
Or is
don't
that-
spend. Yeah,
No,
there will be
okay.
healers here to take care. I don't want you to spend resources.
I
you
will
don't need
offer
to.
a paw.
Yeah, he definitely takes that. You pull him up. The crowd clapping and cheering.
Gruff!
So you did score a victory, so that is another point of glory towards you, and the crowd was still engaged. So you do score that glory, and that counts towards your total thing. So all the glory you scored in this, you get to keep.
Okay, so
if
is that-
the crowd had gotten bored, you would have lost the other point from the showboating as well,
Okay.
because they would have got bored and walked away.
So is that like? So I started with a 2 and I finished with 3 more, so 5, or do I get another one?
Yes, you finished the fight. You earned 3 points of glory, right?
So I earned 3 in total: 1 for the showboating, 1 for winning, and there was.
Yeah, so I
something
think
else.
just 2 then. I think,
So just-
I think it was just the 2. I don't think there was a third one. Because you didn't get above a 20 on a roll, did you?
No.
No.
Oh, I knocked him prone though.
Oh, that's right. You let him strike you first.
I
That's
let him
right.
strike
Yes.
him prone, and then
Yes,
yeah, and then
No, it's only if if you purposely let him get up before he strikes you. It's like a more thing. It's not just knocking someone prone.
Okay.
It's-
You should have 5 now, yeah.
You
So I
should,
got
yeah.
5.
You've got
Okay.
5 glory points. Yeah, that's
Got it.
correct.
Pretty
Alrighty.
cool.
But yeah, first victory done.
One down.
Very cool.
So you kind of step out. There's a little bit of time. Atlas, you're going to be up next, but you've got again like a little bit of time if you wanted to go and do anything, or if anybody wants to do anything in between.
Daisy might
Right.
go and try the painting classes and stuff.
Yeah, you can go along to one of those. Yeah, you have to head out of the tawny field and go out into Ashen's Rest. I believe that they were being hosted
By the
by...
square.
Yes, they're in the square, and Miss Visa Fair, who is the school teacher, is hosting those classes. So that is one of your 3 requisite classes that you need to do
I
for
will
that. All right.
do
So
it.
Daisy won't be present for the match. Anybody else going off and doing anything else?
I'm going to stay in the corner and be like, what? I think Atlas is up next. And
Please don't put the towel on my face.
oh,
Please don't put
I
the
just
towel.
put this on his own face.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
I'm here if you need help. Gruffith's just won, and it wasn't thanks to me. Obviously, Gruffith did an incredible.
Yeah. I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. I guess. Yeah.
No, I saw the way you jumped on that spear. You're agile, quick. I don't know who you're up against, but we're quick.
Well, I'll take it. Thanks.
It's a little bit icy on the floor, just because.
Oh yeah,
it's
no, watch out
melting
for those. There's
now.
puddles, but
Awesome. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
So everyone else sticking around for
Yeah,
Alice's
I'll,
match?
I'll watch. I also want to examine.
Okay.
How this
See how this goes down.
just in
All right.
case, you know.
So in that case, you kind of get everything set back up. Atlas, you are pulled in. Your opponent is Sir Bolvar Brass Bull of the Whistling Halls.
What a title!
Sir Bolvar is a ugly dwarf. He has got a broken nose. His eyes, his cheeks are all puffed out and bloodshot. He has barely any of his original teeth left. They've all been replaced with metal and things like that. He's very heavy set brow, but you can see he's wide, he's strong, clad in plate armor with a shield and a massive round-headed mace, like a huge cudgel, basically. He kind of was like, "Say there, boy.
I did not expect
You're
that.
the son of the Flame of Helios, ain't you?"
Yep, that's me. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, he has to kind of look up at you a little bit. He's a dwarf. He offers an armored hand, he kind of has to pull his shield off. But you realize that he must have a prosthetic arm under his armor because there's no grip or movement. He just kind of wiggles his arm basically, and then he slots the shield back onto the arm. Yeah, pleasure. I heard your dad used to be something of a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, my dad's pretty awesome. I'm not too bad myself, so that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Why is that funny?
What'd you say?
I said you're gonna lose.
Okay.
You're happy losing? You don't mind?
What?
Okay.
A good fight to you, son.
Yeah, to you too.
Me what?
Okay.
Okay. He toddles off back to his corner.
Wow. Okay.
You can see like his ears are like,
I'm like-
so cauliflowered, like swollen and broken.
Make a note of that. I'm like, maybe it'll be useful. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe, could be.
Can hear shit.
He like, you see him like stretching out his fighting arm. Like, sorry, it would have been this arm that his prosthesis is on. He's like rolling his shoulder. He's like cracking his neck. He's not old as a dwarf. He's just so beaten up.
just really-
He's like he can't hear anymore. His like teeth whistle when he speaks. And you can see that like there's like a crew of dwarves that have come with him. A little bit like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's like 5 dwarves. All look beaten up. They look like miners or something like that. And they're all like kind of talking to him in the corner, and he's like kind of mumbling to each other. And they pull out like little banners that have got like his heraldry on them, and they start waving them. But you think that like nobody else really knows who this guy is. Like this guy is like he's got his little mates, and that's it. But everyone's kind of excited. They can see this like really strong, burly-looking dwarf. You with your resplendent dragon armor, and we're gonna jump into our match 1 with.
Here we go.
Let's go.
So yeah, you're happy doing the same sort of narrative
yeah,
stuff?
definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, lead us off. You take the lead then. This is like how you choose to sort of approach the scenario.
Okay. I'm going to do I'm going to try and do a bit of a showboaty thing to start us off. Given the fact that Atlas can hear, Atlas is just going to turn and kneel and then like almost like a prayer motion, and just listen for when he approaches.
So is this like a showboat?
Yeah, this is a show, but he's basically just turning around, kneeling down on the ground, and
Yeah.
just
Do
letting
you
him.
say anything in particular? Like, is this like a prayer to the scions, the gods, the saints, or is this to like your lady?
Yeah. This is to the
Lady Meteor.
Yeah, I'll say like, I will claim this victory for Lady Meteona, and then I'll kneel down, and then just to add a little bit, I'll use produce flame, but also put my gauntlet up to my mouth and then produce flame, almost as if the dragon helm is like producing fire, and also hold it up in the air.
Very cool. Glory point instantly. Yes. Like, great showboating.
I mean, yeah, starting the fight, turning away from him.
and you do hear like you kind of do this, and like, you hear Bolvar like, what's he doing? He's not paying attention. And then he just charges like, he goes to swing, but you hear him coming. You spin round, like bring the shield up, deflect him away as you take that moment. Anybody want to jump in between these rounds? So like give an advantage or like do anything in the audience. You don't have to. Remember, there's plenty of rounds that you can say this up. You can just roll in.
At the art thing, asking if I can have supplies to make a second banner.
Okay, nice.
Because I want to make Atlas a banner.
Okay, very good. So you're like going around, like there's paints, like the teacher's like, yes, are you not doing the clown? You're like, no, you just want the paints.
My friend! I have a new friend! And he's in the tournament, and I made this banner for my other friend. But then I want to make another one.
All
So
right,
if I could
well,
just make another
maybe
one.
if you ask some of I think they're doing a textiles class over there, dear, and she points you in the direction, and you rush off to go and get like some fabric and cloth and things like that.
I love that you go to the art class and show off the most resplendent
Yeah,
banner
everyone's
anyone has ever
like
seen.
you almost see like Lisa like and then you're already off, and she's like, no, come back, like chasing after you.
You have a talent.
Yeah,
I'll be back later, I promise.
It's like Mikote Catwoman, basically. All right, so let's just go straight back into it with Atlas. Right, so you're now like clashing.
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. Does this dwarf have any like fabrics or anything, or is it all just armor?
No, I think he's all armored.
He's all armored,
Yeah, I
okay.
don't think he would have much in the way of like fabrics and things like that. One thing that I guess you wouldn't know yet, because you know I had to do a thing on the world. So dwarves in this world, they have this condition where around puberty they start like metal starts like their skin and body starts turning into metal and growing out of them. And as they get older, it takes over more and more of their body. And then in their final years, it basically completely turns them into metal or crystal or stone. And so you can see like Bolvar, like from like his jaw, he has like these chunks of what looks like iron, like just growing out of him. And he shaved them to almost be part of his beard. So like the beard actually kind of grows in amongst it, and it creates these like almost like spiral designs that he's like shaped it into. But he also has like studs of it around his eyes. But he's like all metal basically.
Absolutely baller as hell. Okay. In which case, I'm gonna see that, like, I know that he has this prosthetic arm on the shield hand, which I think is going to limit his ability to attack me from like one side. So I'm going to stick my spear, like as we're in mid blows, I'm going to stick my spear into the ground, as effectively like to block a glancing blow. I'll spin around and then use my shield to like club him over the head.
Cool, I love it. I say this is, you tell me, like for me this sounds quite acrobatic, but I guess it could be athletics.
Yes,
Like,
I'd be whatever you want to rule.
I'd say acrobatics, because like this
yeah.
is like a spinning kind of like move, like almost using the spear.
Yeah.
It's a bit more graceful and dexterous, I would say.
Okay, let's see what I get. 18.
18 is a success. That's one progress. I will mark off the boredom track as well.
Okay.
So the crowd are loving this. They're just like, whoa, yeah, exactly what you planned. You stick it in the ground. He goes to strike it, blocks the thing. You spin round. You club him in the side with a shield. He staggers back. You pull the spear out, spin it round.
Oh, I was actually going to leave the spear in the ground.
Oh, okay, yeah, great, yeah. Leave it in the ground.
Use
So
that
you
for
bam, bam.
Yeah.
Maybe use the produce flame, like you know, kind of like use
Do a
that
little
to
flash,
deflect him
yeah.
around. Yeah, like blind him for a second. Great. Anybody want to jump in with anything or just roll in? Okay.
I want to create a silent image. This is for the crowd to keep them less bored.
Okay.
It's going to be a 15-foot version of your helmet, breathing fire, and it's kind of just swooping around the front of the audience.
That's awesome. And that's a spell slot, right, for you
That's
to
a
use.
spell
So
slot.
no roll needed. You just automatic success.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you do exactly that. The crowd are like, whoa, no! Like just freaking out. Like as it gets closer, people start following it and doing the wave and like, you know, like chasing it around the crowd and stuff.
Yeah,
But
60-foot distance, so as far as I can...
And you can maintain concentration on it, right? So yeah, you
And
keep that going for a whole fight.
Every move I can move it,
Yep.
so...
So that's going to absolutely reduce their boredom.
Cool.
Atlas, what do you do next?
Cool.
So
Is he coming back at
he's
me,
like
or-
he's like
Yeah.
rounding round and he's just like, hey, you're a quick one, and he just like basically he charges towards you in like a dwarven headbutt, but he comes at a speed you are not expecting. He's quick, more quicker than you were expected to, and he's just like he like jumps and like launches himself towards you. What do you do?
Okay, jumps and launches himself towards me. I'm going to use my, it's called Tentaclectic Movement.
Okay.
But basically, I'm imagining that the sort of spear is now behind us in some way.
yeah,
so
sure.
essentially, you see that the spear gets a little like fire on the base of it. It sort of like scooches out of the ground and flies back into my hand.
Okay.
But I was kind of hoping it could fly back into my hand like through an arm or something.
Yeah, sure. So this is, and it costs you your points, right?
Yeah, this is costing me my...
We'll call them like fire points,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
magic,
fire
something like that.
points,
Yeah. Great.
Actually, this first one is free.
Okay, first one's free.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's
So
also short rest, which is important.
yeah. So because they come back on a short rest, give me one roll. Make
Yeah.
just an attack roll for me.
Sure.
So with your spear, make an attack roll for me.
Okay. Natural 20. Which, actually, because my spear is Blaze Dancer,
Yeah.
any creature that I choose within 5 feet when I score a natural 20 takes an additional 5 points of damage. As you watch as this, I think it's basically the spear starts spinning in midair, the tassel on it, like, ignites, and it almost looks like a Catherine wheel of fire. As it
And he's like mid-leap, so he does not have a chance to see this come in, and it just tears into his back. Like he's like knocked out of the way. He goes spinning, he lands
And I
face
catch
down.
it. Woof.
I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to give you 2 progress points instead of 1.
Ooh, okay.
Also, it was an above 20, so you get a glory point. And I'm also going to have him fall prone, basically, to represent, like, he takes the damage, but he's also now, he's face down in the mud. He, like, comes up, his, like, face is, like, covered in mud, and he's like, yeah, what was that? And he's, like, looking around, and you're there with this burning spear looking like a badass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
So what was the spear? I know Xanthius wouldn't know this. What was the spear called?
My spear is called Blaze Dancer. I think as I do that, I will shout, I'll shout something like "Dance through the fire," and then like call it into my hand, and then
Very dancehall,
and then
love it.
what I'll do is if he's prone on the floor,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a minute to get up.
Okay.
As I turn around to the crowd and I say, "Behold, Flip Blaze Dancer!"
Okay. Do you want to use that as your next action to basically let him get up? So
I'm gonna let him get up and attack me.
That's another glory point. Yeah, absolutely.
Stacking those up.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Anybody want to jump in at this point?
Feely's just cheering, just like, woo, trying to get that
Are you-
hype in the crowd up.
Do you want to hype the crowd or do you want to boost Atlas?
I'll boost Atlas.
Okay, yeah, give me another. This would be persuasion because this is a lot more sort of positive.
Cool. 15. 15.
Is just on the money. So yeah, you get the crowd hyped up. You're like cheering, like Blaze Dancer, like, and then everyone starts cheering this name, and you start hearing like Ember, Ember, Ember. You have advantage on the next roll, Atlas. That's how your use of support this turn. You are currently at 3 progress.
3 progress.
And 3. Well, I shouldn't tell you the ball. I should keep that secret.
Okay, I think if I've got advantage and 3 progress, I'm gonna try and end the fight.
You're gonna try and finish the fight. Okay.
What I'm gonna do is very he's attacking me, but I think I'm doing that like the like Morpheus thing, where as he's attacking because he's slightly like reckless, I'm just stepping out of the way like this. I think I actually dropped my shield down and just sort of to like further kind of increase how comfortable I am, and maybe I just get chinned by this dwarf.
We'll find out when this roll, because this is it. It's a 1 or nothing. So either he's gonna like use this to beat you.
I'm gonna roll these one at a time.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
that's cocked.
Is it cocked?
That's cocked.
I think that is still cocked. That was like between an 18 and a 2.
I'll take it. Yeah, if you think it's cocked, I trust.
Nat 20! Oh my god!
Joy on your face.
Oh my god!
roll the other one.
Yeah, let's just see. Oh, 15. Okay, plus 2, so it would have been an 18.
Imagine.
Another glory point.
Yes, oh my god, yes.
Well, 2 because you won the fight as well.
Oh, that's wild. Okay.
So,
absolutely
yeah,
incredible.
you basically watch as dodge the side. He's getting so angry. He's like, stay still, you still.
And I go, what?
And then he stops. He's like, stay. And then you just kick around. The spear comes out. How do you want to like kind of like you're not going to kill him, but he's going to surrender. So like, is this like a furious stab of blows that he's struggling to defend?
I think as I'm like dodging, I then start like grabbing his like hands and like continuing the movement. So he starts like stumbling around and things like that. And then I basically
you really just make this guy look like a fool.
Yeah. And then I think what happens is I like bring my leg up as if to do a kick, and I'm going to use produce flame on my foot. So I'm like holding this flaming foot above his head, and I'm like, huh?
All right. I quit. And then you hit like the crowd are like, Amber.
I wish my dad could see this.
Well, he's right here.
Yeah. Oh my god, Dad!
Throwing like silent images him in the clouds like Mufasa.
I'm proud of you, son.
The burning tear.
Yeah. Victory. Congratulations on your match. You win a victory.
Was that 1 glory for winning, but also another glory?
You got another
Nat
20. Yeah, anytime you perform an incredible feat.
Yeah.
So anything which is, and it could be a 20 or higher, but obviously with a nat 20, we know it's going to be higher than 20. You get another glory point as well. So.
Okay. Also, mechanically, in between turns, can any of us go, or is it just one of us at a time?
It's you get one chance. Each of you has one thing per combat.
Because I think what I would have been doing, I guess, can kind of count as 2 turns, maybe for a potential future gruff fight. So I almost want to examine the way that Atlas is fighting as well, in order to maybe like influence Gruff's fight in the future. I have a favourite.
Yeah.
There was definitely times where I was swept away by how cool you looked out there.
Yeah.
But there is still like, I kind of want to...
This would be insight or investigation.
Insight.
Because that's why I let you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if it helps, my like wisdom and stuff is garbage.
No. So I'm going to give it as a flat DC.
Yeah, just to see how you're fighting. Maybe I can kind of give you some advice or something.
Cheeky boy.
Yeah, I mean...
Do it.
9. No, 8, sorry. So I
He was so cool.
He looked incredible. I was swept away by the tournament before, like the way you were moving. You put fire behind your spear and rocketed it back towards you. That's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my entire dang life.
It was pretty cool. With this
is notes of Atlas.
Yeah,
it's just a
that's
drawing, like a stick drawing of like cool dude, Brad X.
And then I think like the funniest part is like as soon as he gets like backstage and takes his helmet off, he's just like really excited. He's like, "Oh my god, did you see what I did? That was so cool! It's like never worked that well before, like ever. Whoa! That was just so
Everyone was cheering him.
I know. They all said Emperor. It was awesome. Oh man, this is great. Okay.
If I was your father, I'd be very proud of you.
Oh, That means a lot. I'm gonna need a minute. And just runs off into a corner.
Well, I was going to say, so with those 2 matches, you now have like a little bit of time, the 2 of you. Your next matches are going to, it's maybe about an hour, so you have another time for a short rest. You probably don't need one, Gruff, but if Atlas wants to take one. But you have a little bit more time before your next matches for the day. And this is an opportunity for all of you, if you guys want to go off and do anything, this is an opportunity as well. Yeah, Rowan.
Rowan is probably going to go off and go to a food vendor to get some not too stodgy, but some re-energizing food for the 2 of you.
Okay. Yeah. So if I remember, you bought snacks earlier this morning in the previous episode, didn't you? You got the potato snacks and the nuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means if you get snacks now, you'll be at 2 snacks.
There's a snack
There's a snack tracker.
Snack tracker.
I had so many snacks.
Officially you've had 1 snack when you were with Rowan.
I had one in each hand.
Okay, it doesn't count. From the same vendor.
There is fan art.
There is.
A potato stick in each hand.
It's per vendor. Yeah, you got to go and buy your stackable buff, basically. But yeah, you go and do that run. It would cost you 15 silver for like everybody. Daisy, you get the fabric, you get the paint. Do you want to make a check to see how well your Atlas banner is?
Yeah, can I use fate?
You can.
What's my thing?
So I believe I did it just pure dex last time.
Did you?
Yeah, but you did get the bardic inspiration from Rowan, which you won't have this time, unfortunately.
No, you
been
did it with
proficiency as well.
proficiency.
Oh yeah,
as
that's
well.
right, because you're painted. Yes, that's right. So dex
So-
plus proficiency. You're correct.
What's my proficiency?
3 now,
3.
because it's level 5. So it should be +7. And then you've got a d6, yeah.
Okay. Don't let me down. 13, 14, 15, 16 plus 18.
18. It's not
a rush job.
It's a rush job. It's nowhere near the exquisite quality of the Graph banner.
I didn't know
but it's a lovely banner. What do you think the design of Atlas's banner would be? Is it just Yay Atlas? Or is
Yay, Atlas.
you can have a think.
Yeah,
You
let
can
me
have
have
a
a
think.
think. It's
Flames.
probably going
I
to
think
be
flames.
It's going to have a flame on it.
Yep.
But it's probably also going to say
Oh, I need to.
flame on.
Write that down.
Flameo, hot man.
Flavor oh man.
Yeah, have a think.
It's going to say
Atlas.
go the ember and then have a flame.
Nice, perfect, great.
Simple and effective.
Still very good. Still very, very good. All right.
Can I,
Yeah, go on ahead.
while everyone's at the tournament, can I go back to the Enticing Devil?
Yeah.
I want to speak to Tyria.
Okay. Oh, Rhiannon, always throwing me those curveballs.
Remember that house?
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Haunting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ghost, Tyria.
Fantastic.
yeah. So,
She's going to recruit her.
Ophelia, you head back to the Enticing Devil, and the street that you're on is it's close to the 20 field, but it's not near anything that people would want to go near, so it's quite quiet and empty. Most of the houses are shut, pretty much everybody's at the tournament, so you don't encounter anybody. When you make your way there, the Enticing Devil, in its state of disrepair, the broken windows, the shutters that are closed but, broken apart, broken beams, half the roof collapsed in. Work hasn't begun on your shrine yet because of the tournament, so you make your way in, and of course Percival is the one there. Percival just quietly waiting. As soon as you arrive back in, Percival comes over to you, dusts off your dress at the
Skeleton
bottom,
robe.
wipes anything that's out of place. It fixes your hair from the little scuffle that you had, and Percival just sort of waits by your side. It is the middle of the day or like a late afternoon, so sunlight's kind of filtering in through the broken roof, through the window slats, and there is this quiet to the inn. But because you know that this is steeped in an energy of death, that quiet you know all too well. It is the quiet of a grave. It is the quiet of somewhere that has been touched by death. And you know that she is present. It is daylight, so it's harder for her to manifest, but she is here and listening. But you also know that her stability has been waning, and some of that anger, some of that vengeance is bubbling in her.
Ophelia will walk up to, or she'll go up the stairs quietly up to Tyria's room and just sort of linger in the doorway a little bit.
You see the drawer of the dresser, the broken dresser, the first place you saw Tyria, where she was sat miming, brushing her hair. The drawer slides open and the hairbrush just moves and shuts again.
Tyria, my dear, it's wonderful to see you again. I have a proposition. Within you, there is so much power. You've shown everybody your abilities, what you are capable of. And, well, I can give you a choice. It's up to you.
You see the shutters close, the slats draw, and the room becomes a lot darker. This is in the roof, and with the shutters closed, there is a much gloomier environment. A little bit of sunlight filtering through, and in that chair, this translucent bluish-green figure begins to materialize, and you see the horrific scarred face that to most people is terrifying. The scarred lady, as she is known. This face jagged and torn where she was brutally attacked and mutilated. That one eye looks at you. The voice, unable to speak with them, but that voice rasping. She looks towards you, curious, certainly intrigued.
You are capable of much. And myself and my friends, we, of course, would love to help put you to rest. But of course, rest is not always the end, and it doesn't have to be your end. Where I am from, Osseous, there is a house called the House of Shrouds. And they provide homes for spirits, such as yourselves. And you could be useful there. It could be a home for you. You would be amongst other spirits. You would have work. You would have a whole other life, of course, in this form, but you could use your powers for other things. Or, if you are content, we are, of course, happy to continue our path and put you to rest and let you traverse into the ethereal planes and beyond. That is up to you. But if you would like to make your choice, I'm always ready to hear your response.
The ghost doesn't stand, but drifts. You can't really see her legs as she sort of trails away into ether at the bottom. She drifts towards you, and a hand sort of reaches for your face, tracing the outline, and that ghostly hand comes up to her own scarred, almost measuring or sort of testing, or perhaps in a sense you almost get a sense of envy or nostalgia. Make a persuasion test for me. I'm not going to give you... Oh, didn't even spend the fate.
No. 21.
What is happening, by the way?
Yeah, we had a whole plan for this situation.
I like how you did it while we're all out in the house.
What's the
busy.
character alignment here? Because
Yeah.
Well, what? No,
She's a
there's
diplomat.
complexity here.
Checks
Because
out.
Yeah.
you are not... You know that the House of Shrouds, she wouldn't be bound, like, controlled. She would be free. She would be given... she would be released from whatever holds her here, and the House of Shrouds would help her develop her powers and develop her being an undead creature, regain her intelligence, regain her ability to be in control. But it would be like damning her to an eternity as a spirit. But there's this kind of... And I think because you've caught her in a slightly unstable state of mind, you feel this intense need for vengeance burning in this spirit. and that is encouraging her to take your offer.
Oh.
And she like looks at you, but she doesn't know how to make this happen. What do you? But that you get the sense that Tyrea is open to this choice.
I will find a way to contact my deity and find a way for them to open the gateway and allow you to traverse to the House of the Shrouds, if that is still what you would like to do.
Yes. Vengeance. Home.
I will carry out your wish. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sister. And she just drifts into your body, and you feel this cold wave over you. And that's where we're going to end today's episode.
Where'd that come from?
That is all that one. Do not look at me. No fucking idea. I had a whole tournament arc. And she's like, I was like, oh, Ophelia's going to do some art classes or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Game.
Wild.
that is it for today's episode.
Holy crap.
See you for next week. Thanks again to Mr. Jasper Cartwright for joining
Thank you
us.
for having me, everyone.
You will be joining us for the next episode as well.
I will.
So we will hopefully get to see the conclusion of the tournament.
Yeah, I hope
We've
so.
got a couple of matches, but also the conquest. So we are going to jump pretty much straight into that. We will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.